This is game day. A day for the big players to battle for one trophy and the chance to become the 2019 Kawasaki Australian Superbike champion. 16 races, 6 rounds, 7 brands and 6 different racetracks around the nation. Now it all comes down to this. After one of the most epic, most thrilling seasons yet, we arrive at our final stop. It's round 7 of the Motul Pirelli Australian Superbike Championship here from Sydney Motorsport Park. Hello, Emma Francesco with you. Thank you for joining our coverage. Wow, what a 2019 season it has been, and just the way we like to see it, yet again, it is down to the wire. Never have we seen such close racing and such a close championship for the Kawasaki Superbike class. Last time out at Phillip Island really did have a bit of everything. We saw Mike Jones have his first DNF, same for Crew Halliday, and Troy Herfoss came out and shook things up. Coming into this round, he is the one leading this championship. As we have a look at the standings, as I said, leading Troy Herfoss only by 3 points over Wayne Maxwell in second and Mike Jones sitting in third position. 25 points separating the top 5. Mathematically, 6 contenders are in the fight for that top spot. And of course, out on track, the elbows are out, but up and down pit lane, tensions are very high indeed. So just to set the scene for you, thought I'd show you a little bit of a snippet of our championship contenders and what's to come. So I know you said you've got respect for Troy Herfoss, but how about Mike Jones?
Look, I obviously, I've got respect for his ability on the bike, but off the bike, definitely not a lot of respect. The way that him and his team went about, in particular, not so much him and his team, him and Paul Free went about their attitude about the incident, down at turn 4 at Phillip Island in race 2. He's still gone down the road that it was, I took him out, it was entirely my fault. Obviously, race direction, reviewed the incident and just brushed it aside because there's nothing to be seen.
Well, I suppose the move that he made was quite aggressive, so I guess the responses are going to be aggressive in response to that. So at the end of the day, I've got my views on it, and I ended up in the gravel, and I'm not very happy about it. So I'm not going to have much good to say about it.
So as you can see, no love in the air between those two, Mike Jones and Wayne Maxwell, only tension. And the tension continued well after qualifying yesterday, a very unexpected qualifying session. And boys, it certainly threw a spanner in the works for Mike Jones.
Thanks, Em. It certainly was. It was all about this man, Daniel Falzon, yesterday in qualifying. He scorched around the Sydney Motorsport Park venue in a 1 minute 30.039 to take his first pole position since Darwin in 2017. He took the championship point and the Elite Roads pole position award and started race 1 from pole position. Troy Herfoss and Daniel's teammate Crew Halliday joined him on the front row of the grid, but it was Wayne Maxwell from the second row of the grid that blasted around the outside of turn 1 and took the lead early on.
Yeah, he did get the jump, but it didn't take Falzon long to get back in front and try to show everybody what he could do. Remember, he hasn't won a race this year, so Falzon was giving it everything he had from that pole position.
Jones started from the third row of the grid, but it wasn't long. He was up into third position, and then he used the straight line speed of the Ducati to start making his way forward. And it was good to see the top 3 contenders in the championship all in the lead group, battling for position on track.
Herfoss was pushing early on, trying to find a way past, but then Maxwell made his move into turn 1 at the end of the straight, and it looked at that point that he had the pace to hold it to the end. Back in the pack, it was Dominic Dillon and Matt Tooley having a race of their own through turn 9, the KTM corner.
As the race went on, though, the lead group started to thin out. Jones came down the inside to take the race lead at exactly the same time that our pole position man, Daniel Falzon, crashed out on board the Yamaha YZR1M.
Yeah, not exactly what he had planned for the afternoon, but that put Mike Jones in the pound seat and up front. Herfoss knew he had to pounce, went past the number 47, and that left him in a little bit of despair. Then Brian Starring worked to do, but he was there and thereabouts as well. Maxwell had problems. He had company. The Kawasaki man and also Crew Halliday, who was meant to win this race, caught up to the back of that pack. Big trouble for the number 47 man, the man with a big chance in this championship, because the other 2 had bolted up front.
Jones led the race, but Herfoss closed down a big lead in the space of 1.5 laps and was right on the tail of the Desmo Sport Ducati as they came through the final lap. He was looking to try and find a way past. The Ducati was too good out of corners and had too much straight line speed, and Jones took the win. He also takes the championship lead by 0.5 point over Troy Herfoss on the Penrite Honda, with Wayne Maxwell just holding on to third place in a late charge by Brian Starring, who took 4th, Crew Halliday in 5th.
Well, fantastic effort by Mike Jones. Can he take the championship? We're not too far away from finding out as we have a look at today's schedule. Action-packed for you. It all starts with YMI Supersport 300 final race for 2019. The battle is on there for that championship between Senna Aegis and Max Stover, followed by Motorsport's TV Supersport. Then the big one, the finale for the Kawasaki Superbikes, and then the final race for the Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup. God, it's getting very windy down here. As I mentioned, of course, the YMI Supersport 300 class will be wrapped up not too far away, and Steve Martin caught up with some of the contenders earlier this weekend.
Well, here we are. We're coming into this final race meeting, and the championship's up for grabs. The fight's between you two guys. I mean, how are you feeling at the moment?
Yeah, I'm feeling good coming into this round. I've been working hard and been working hard all year to try and keep the championship alive.
What about you, Senna? How are you feeling?
I struggled a bit all year. I've had to come up, get Max together to even give me a chance to beat Max here this weekend. And yeah, I've got it down to as close as I can going into this weekend, and I'm confident as well. It should be a really intense race, and I'm really looking forward to it.
It seems to be this year that it's been a battle. Senna's winning one week, you're winning the next. I mean, you two guys have had some titanic battles throughout your racing careers. You've been racing together since you were 7 years old.
Yeah, well, ever since we were 7, we've been on the track together, always next to each other, always banging bars.
We talked a little bit at the start. Your Kawasaki mounted. How's your Kawasaki going to work on this track?
It's come good in the last couple of race meetings at the start of the year. Stock suspension, limited revs, and it really was struggled. I really struggled against the Yamahas. Max and the front runners dominated towards the start of the year, and I've just clawed my way back. And now that we're a bit more competitive, it's just kept the racing alive.
What about you, Max? Your Yamaha, you've been Yamaha mounted pretty much your whole career. You had a win last year in the junior class.
Yamaha's done a great job. The bike that they've produced me or given me is fantastic. It gets through the corners beautifully.
The question has to be asked. You guys are going to go to school Monday morning. How do you do all the celebration, get the Friday off, and then how does it all pan out? I mean, really?
Yeah, we'll be packing up the trailer and going home and get my school bag out of my bedroom, put my lunch in and go straight to school Monday.
Do the guys at your school actually know what you do? Do they know that you're on TV racing? Do they watch that, and then when you get to school they go, "Hey, Senna, I saw you on TV"?
They sort of get a ride. A few of my mates do it for fun as well. They don't get the level and what it really is to a sport. They don't know how hard it is as a sport to do. It's sort of just maybe a hobby for them, but they don't really understand the extent of what we do. So.
Well, in our minds, you're both champions. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Supersport 300 riders are now on the grid for the third and final race on today's program. The last race of the year, Steve Martin. The championship has come down to 8 points. Max Stover leads over Senna Aegis, and they start from the front row of the grid, both of them. Max Stover in second, Senna Aegis in third. We've seen some great racing so far this weekend. Supersport 300 has provided great racing all year. It is really all to play for now in this final race.
Yeah, we're in for an absolute cracker. Race 1 earlier today was sensational, and it's between those two guys that we just saw a moment ago. Who will be the champion? We're going to know very soon. Not many laps in this one, Phil, so this is going to determine our champion.
It is that close. It is really hard to pick because there are not only the two championship challengers, there's also Hunter Ford, Johnny Littris, Brandon Demery, Zach Levy. They've all been in the mix. Luke Johnson took the race win earlier on today. Yanni Shaw took the race win a couple of rounds ago. There are so many players in this equation. It really is going to come down to who's in the best position on the last lap.
Well, you're right, because in this class, normally we get about 15 to 16 guys in the leading group. So you can be a second off the lead, but be in 15th or 16th. And that is something that either Max or Senna Aegis can't afford to happen this time out. They need a head-to-head battle. Other names could play big pieces in the part of this race and this championship.
And it's also going to be about, as we discussed before in Superbike, who handles the pressure the best in the final laps of this race.
Well, if there was ever a race with pressure, it's this one right here. And both of the contenders know that. This is going to be the 300 race of the year.
Well, as they make their way down through Suzuki and into the hairpin at the back of the track that has seen so much action this weekend, Steve Martin. The breaking into here in the second race for them this morning was unbelievable, and this race is going to be right down to the wire. As we mentioned, Hunter Ford will start from pole position. He's going to be a factor in this equation, but the championship challengers, Max Stouffer and Senna Adjus, will start from the first row of the grid as well.
Row 2, Zach Levy, Brandon Demery and John Littris. That's a pretty strong row 2.
Yeah, row 3, Yanni Shaw, Luke Johnson and Ben Baker. 2 of those guys have won races this year.
Row 4's Neil Muston, Timothy Berryman and Peter White. Row 5, we go to Ross Lilly, and I'll tell you what, there's just a massive amount of contenders in this one.
Another one to look out for too is Seth Crump on board bike number 57, the only KTM in the field. You can see him there with the orange wheels making his way down. He started off the weekend slowly, but he showed in race 1 and race 2 that he's certainly got pace and could be a big factor in this championship equation.
John Littris on 308, another one to keep an eye on. He's always a strong starter. You'll notice him. He's on the predominantly white R3, and he's always up near the front, so definitely one to watch out for. Laura Brown, of course, she was riding strong last time out at Phillip Island, wasn't she? She was right in the leading group.
That's it, and also watch out for her teammate too, Benny Baker, on board bike number 72. But we've had a long season in Supersport 300, Steve Martin. It all comes down to this final 8-lap race for the YMI Supersport class to determine who will be the YMI Australian Supersport 300 champion.
Zach Levy, he was strong in race 1 earlier today. Brandon Demery there on the number 11, a multiple Australian champion. We've got some trouble on the grid. Number 121 just moving their bike back there. That's Reece Altrud.
Yep, and also too, it looked like Peter Nerlich was in the wrong grid position. That looks like it's all sorted now. Hunter Ford starts from pole position. Stouffer leads by 8 points from Senna Adjus.
That could have been a bit of a jump there from the second row.
Supersport 300, here goes Steve Martin as they make their way down towards turn 1. Cracking start from the front row of the grid, but Zach Levy has already put himself in the equation for this race as they come down, and he goes around the outside of Hunter Ford. Where is Senna Adjus? He's back to about 5th position from the front row of the grid, but we saw earlier on today that doesn't mean anything as they make their way down in towards turn 2, and it is Littris down the inside, but it's Stouffer that leads around the outside. He's got the bodyguards of Zach Levy and Hunter Ford.
Yeah, but will they be bodyguards? Will they sit behind them and look after him? I don't know. Has Yamaha said something? There's Senna Adjus, about 4 or 5 back at the moment. Work to do for him as they head over the hill and down into the hard-braking right-hander.
Well, Johnny Littris, the man that you picked to keep an eye out for, is up into 4th position. Then it's KTM mounted Seth Crump back in 6th. In the middle of those 2 riders is Senna Adjus, who is trying to challenge for this championship. And race 2 victor, Luke Johnson on board the ProWorks Kawasaki, bike number 25, a little bit further back in the field. Yanni Shaw is also up in this mix as well on the 333 machine.
Yanni Shaw, a winner this year, had a couple of good wins at Winton Raceway. So Yanni Shaw on the Bridgestone shop machine definitely could shake things up this time out with a good start like he had. But up the inside, Hunter Ford looks for a dive bomb. Zach Levy's there. Still not sure that Zach Levy didn't quite jump the start a little bit. He moved under starter's hands. We'll have to wait and see.
I don't think Zach Levy really cares at the moment. I think he might have gone out there with one thing in mind, what he's going to do as they come round through the top end of the circuit now for the first time, coming round to complete the first of this 8-lap journey. Look at the end of the straight. The Kawasaki certainly have an advantage at the end of the straight, but the Yamaha seem to jump off the corner a fraction better. As they come down the straight now, it is Hunter Ford that takes the lead. Max Stouffer into the slipstream. Here comes Johnny Littris. Here comes Senna Adjus. And also Seth Crump on the front. Goes around the outside. Will he take the lead into turn 1? He can't quite get around the outside of Senna Adjus on board the Kawasaki Ninja 400. And it is Adjus that leads from Crump, Hunter Ford, Zach Levy and Max Stouffer.
Watch Crump on the brakes, though he's strong. Senna Adjus goes in deep. Hunter Ford on the inside there. And Max Stouffer went from the lead to about 6th or 7th in about 100 metres.
Now, we said keep your eye on Seth Crump on board bike number 57. It's his last hurrah in the Supersport 300 Championship for 2019. And he's looking to try and make a very strong impression on this championship challenge as he sits in 2nd place. Hunter Ford goes around the outside. I think he ran there a little bit quick. Closed up onto the back of Seth Crump too quickly and has lost the position to Zach Levy on board the 87 machine.
Well, if it was to finish like this, Senna Adjus would be the champion, wouldn't he? In all honesty, like, the Yamaha boys need to try and pull something out of the hat.
Well, the championship points are 25 for first, 20 for second, 18 for third, and 18 for fourth, and then back 1 point after that. So if you want to take the win, you must make sure that you get as many points as possible, and Senna Agis is doing just that at the moment. He's in line for 25 points, but we're only on lap 2 of 8, and as we've seen, Steve Martin, in Supersport 300 racing, anything can and usually does happen.
There's an incredible amount of pressure on the number 27, Max Stauffer, at the moment. You can see the bikes in front of him there, and boy, he can feel that pressure. He has to do something, because you just can't sit in that position in this race. He's got to dig deep. He can't afford to let Senna, who's notoriously quick as the race goes on, get away like he is.
Seth Trump pulls to the inside. You can see his KTM's got the run in the first part of the circuit. But Zach Levy is back into the lead. He used the slipstream to absolute perfection there. The former champion in the R3 Cup class has done a great job to get bike number 87, the Yamaha R3, into the lead. And here comes Seth Trump around the outside. The KTM's got the most race-like chassis of all of these machines, and he takes the lead on a good run into turn 2, so deep on the brakes.
Seth's having his Seth's weekend here didn't start off great. He was struggling for pace, but I'll tell you what, he's certainly not struggling now leading this pack. He's found something, and it's working well for him. A lot of confidence on the front of that KTM RC390.
Oh, look at Zach Levy taking the wide line. He goes up the inside. No, couldn't quite get up the inside of Seth Crump, who was flowing between those two corners and held on to second position. Max Stauffer has a look over his shoulder. All he can see is bike number 308 of Johnny Littra sitting right behind on the predominantly white machine. Right behind him too, Brendan Demery on bike number 11. Another rider that really announced his presence at the front of the field at the last couple of rounds at Winton and Phillip Island.
Yeah, he's won a few Australian championships too as a number 11 in the middle of your screen there, but none of these Yamaha guys seem to be too worried about helping Max Stauffer win his first 300 championship at the moment.
Well, as you can see there, the riders using all of the track and then some on the exit of the hairpin. As they come up towards the top of KTM straight now and through the AGV corners to finish another lap. This will be the completion of lap 3. So 5 laps to go, so we're still a long way from determining what is going to happen in this race. You can see everyone jockeying for position now, trying to get the slipstream. Hunter Ford pulls out of the slipstream of Seth Crump and into the slipstream of Senna Agis, our race leader. As they came across the right, the lead for Senna Agis was 0.183 of a second.
Hunter Ford around the outside now. Good move by him. He's super strong in the corners. Watch him on the brakes as they head into the turn 2 there, but Senna Agis just breaks that little bit later and manages to keep that line. That was a good move by Senna. He is really good on the front of that bike as well, the way that he manages to brake late and then tip it in, but maintain his line mid-corner. It's a pretty good attribute to have, especially at this Sydney Motorsport circuit.
And I think Hunter Ford's leathers are aptly labelled there on the back, because at the moment he is the hunter. He's hunting down our race leader, Senna Agis. Look how much corner speed he carried there through turn 5. Take the run up the hill now. Hunter Ford trying to find a way past and maybe just try and pull Senna Agis back to the rest of the field. Seth Crump having a great ride, still sitting in 3rd position. Right behind him, Maxi Stauffer. Then it's Zach Levy. Luke Johnson's made his way up into 6th place, ahead of Johnny Litchis in 7th, Demery in 8th, Yanni Shaw in 9th, and Benny Baker rounds out the top 10.
Hunter Ford up the inside. What a great dive bomb. Good move, and he holds the line too. So that's good news. Hunter Ford takes the lead. That will help Max.
Well, Agis tries to use the power of the Kawasaki to get on the lead, or back into the lead up the KTM straight. He does that. Hunter Ford's very quick through these corners, and you watch the R3, should be able to stay with the Ninja 400 on the run out of the corner at the start of the straight. He actually looks to be carrying more corner speed there too, Hunter Ford.
Well, different lines there, like Senna went wider and managed to he stood it up and got on the gas on a different line, so he should be theoretically quicker down the straight. But look at that, Hunter Ford uses the slipstream, takes the inside. That's perfect positioning as they head into turn 1 to take the lead back, and he does. Good move there by Hunter Ford. Pretty even between the R3 and the Kawasaki 400, you would say, in the speed down the straight.
I'm just wondering if maybe a couple of the R3s have changed their gearing to try and get a fraction more top speed for this final race, because that back bit of the straight on the run into turn 1 was the one area where the Ninja 400s have been a little bit stronger than the R3s for the entire weekend.
Yeah.
Look who else has arrived on the scene. He's arrived at the party a lot earlier than he usually does.
Luke
He's usually a late arrival. Luke Johnson, but also Zach Levy on board the 87 machine, the Puma RV's Yamaha R3.
Yeah, well, Zach was at the front, worked his way to the back. Now he's got to do all that hard work again, which, of course, is part and parcel of racing this 300 class. But it is Luke Johnson now who's further up towards the front, and it's good to see him there. But where's Stauffer? He's not in that front 3 or 4.
He's just put a move on Luke Johnson, trying to get up the inside. Has he got the run through turn 8 as they come around the back of Corporate Hill? No, he hasn't.
No.
Luke Johnson's actually gone back ahead of Stauffer, and up the inside, trying to have a look, is Johnny Littress. Can't quite get past Stauffer.
Well, we're getting to a pretty critical part of this race now. Now's the time where Max needs to start getting into that front group. He hasn't really had an impact. He's been sitting at the back of that group, but he hasn't really started diving up the inside or around the outside or doing any moves. He needs to start getting used to doing those moves now, so that when the time comes on the last lap, it's a natural thing to do.
So Seth Crump, what can he do in the slipstream here as he pulls out on board bike number 57? Zach Levy all the way over to the inside of the track. There goes Senna Adjus. There goes Seth Crump threading their way through the Yamaha R3s at the end of the straight. Max Stauffer's well and truly in there. Here comes Luke Johnson as well. Tries to go around the outside of Hunter Ford on the run through turn 1. He did get the better of Zach Levy on board the 87 machine, and he's now diving down the inside, trying to have a look up the inside of Hunter Ford. He hasn't got the same confidence on the front end as what Senna Adjus has on board the race-leading bike number 81.
Nice move by Luke Johnson there, just moving himself up into that 3rd position. Didn't last long though, because Zach Levy just straight away and put himself into that 3rd position at the moment. Good to see. He's very strong. Oh, he's gone back again. Seth Crump, though, he's been pretty consistent in that 4th position at the moment, so you would think that as the race goes on, he could make his way towards the front.
This lead group is 10 motorcycles as we see someone running off the circuit there. It is not one of our front runners. The good news, Hunter Ford back into the lead now as they come down through the back of Corporate Hill, through turn 6 and take the run up the hill, and then around this long sweeping left-hander which runs off camber. You don't want to get wide on the exit of that corner, and then down into the hairpin at Suzuki corner. Johnson up the inside. He's gone up to 2nd place. Johnson, who won race 2 earlier on today.
Well, there's no team orders, not that they're in the same team, those Kawasaki guys, but Johnson and Senna Adjus, you think that they would be working it out, so the Kawasaki versus Yamaha, the manufacturers could win. But these are young kids, they're just going for broke, aren't they, out there?
Maybe they asked them to do something instead of sending them a text message.
Maybe they did. Maybe that was the issue there. Laura Brown, is that Laura Brown in the back of the pack as well? Good to see her. She's really got some good pace since the Phillip Island round.
So here we go down the straight. Seth Crump up the inside. Can he hold the line through turn 1? Here come the Yamahas as well. It is Hunter Ford and Zach Levy to take up the running at the front, using the slipstream to perfection there to take up the running ahead of Seth Crump, and also now Luke Johnson trying to come down the inside on the run into turn 2. It is Hunter Ford that will take the lead from, just managing to hold on, because I thought Zach Levy was going to come and sneak up the inside there on the exit of turn 2.
If it finished like this, and it is impossible for it to finish like this, Max Stauffer would be the champion, because they're side by side. Remember, it's 8 points the gap between the two. That's how much Senna Adjus needs to make up on Max. He really needs to get the win.
Well, and we are on lap 7 of the 8-lap journey, so Senna Adjus has actually gone backwards over the last lap or so. He's now sitting back in 6th position. That will change. He's now just ahead of Max Stauffer, up into 4th position. Stauffer has got Luke Johnson right behind him, and also Johnny Littress as they make their way through turn 7 now and down into the hairpin at turn 8. It's still the Yamaha duo that lead, Hunter Ford and Zach Levy. Seth Crump doing a good job here to hold on to 3rd position. He'd love to finish off the year with a podium on the sole KTM in the field.
Absolutely. What a job he's done this year. Brilliant representation of the KTM brand in this class. Good bike, good rider, good team. Good job, Seth Crump. But it's Hunter Ford now who's leading the way. And I'll tell you what, he's probably one of the few guys that can stay out front and just bang the laps in, isn't he? He's a really good hard charger, is Hunter Ford in this class. Quite experienced, and you can count on, if he's in the race, he's going to be at the front.
Well, Hunter Ford and Zach Levy using each other's slipstream to try and get a bit of a slingshot, but coming from a long way back is Senna Adjus on board bike number 81. Up the inside goes Seth Crump to take up the running in 3rd position, getting the better of Zach Levy. Luke Johnson's also in that mix as well on board the 25 machine, the ProWorks Ninja 400. Tries to go down the inside. Zach Levy couldn't tip into the corner, Steve Martin, because there was a ProWorks Kawasaki Ninja 400 right where he wanted to be.
Yeah, absolutely. But it is the man out front on the Kawasaki at the moment. Senna Agis coping with all the pressure. Hunter Ford up the inside, the bottom of the hill there, through the MA switchback. And Hunter Ford having a bit of a look over his shoulder to see where everybody is. I wonder if he's thinking, where's, Maxi Stauffer? They going to come? Is something going to come into play here?
It could be a rerun of the 1990 Australian Grand Prix where the Italian Mafia ganged up on poor old Hans Spahn to get Loris Capirossi his first World Championship. What can the Yamaha riders do here to try and assist their man Max Stauffer in trying to win the championship? Or is it every man for himself coming into the final lap? We've only got a couple of corners to go now, Steve Martin, and it is Senna Agis that leads. Seth Crump in third place. Max Stauffer is back in fifth position. He is at the moment, but he's got Luke Johnson just behind him, and we know that Luke Johnson gets a good drive onto that straight. He probably might be able to slipstream him. So this is an ultra important last final corner for the number 27, but it's Senna Agis in the perfect positioning at the moment. Hunter Ford, though, in the slipstream. Can he get him before the line? It's not looking good. It's looking like it's going to be Senna Agis who comes over the line. And Max Stauffer will finish in fifth position, so Senna Agis takes the win. He will win the championship by the smallest of margins as they come across the line. It was Senna Agis that took the win from Hunter Ford. Seth Crump does get on the podium in third place. Zach Levy in fourth. Max Stauffer in fifth position. And looks at the points. I think it will be 9 points the advantage to... No, actually, it's got the points on there as 190. Oh, no, that's the, that's the speed, not the points. I'm thinking,
let's just wait till we get the double confirmation of that. But what we can tell you for now, it
384 to 383. Senna Agis takes the win in the championship over Max Stauffer.
By 1 point. What an incredible ride by Senna Agis, coming from behind to win the championship, and he knows it too. He knows it. Look at that. What a way to celebrate.
So the answer in relation to whether Yamaha rider is going to help Max Stauffer, the answer is no. Senna Agis takes the win by 0.066 of a second over Hunter Ford. Seth Crump in third, Zach Levy in fourth, Max Stauffer in fifth, Johnny Littrus in sixth, Luke Johnson in seventh, Brandon Demery in eighth, Yanni Shaw in ninth, and Benny Baker rounded out the top 10. That lead group, a sensational race.
Absolutely. Kyle Connell gets 11th position. 12th is Ryan Smith. He's come good. Reese Outred in 13th. A good result from him. Xylus Bunting there in 14th. Last point for Peter Nerlich. Matt Rindell, Caleb Gilmore in 17th. James Jacobs in 18th. Laura Brown in 19th. Good result for her. Zach Patendi 21st. Jimmy Broadbent 22nd. Patrick Lee, good to see him out there. And Craig White as well.
Wow. We'll come back, we'll hear from our top three, but first a quick break and then we'll come back and all the excitement of the Supersport 300 Championship presentation.
Probably bad timing for them, for Seth Crump to come good.
Welcome back to Sydney Motorsport Park, the final round of the 2019 Motul Pirelli Australian Superbike Championship. And we have just crowned the YMI Australian Supersport 300 champion, Senna Adjus. He took the race win and he took the championship over Max Stouffer by 1 single point. Hunter Ford finished in second position and Seth Crump finished on the podium. They're in Park for May with Emma.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for your champion for 2019, Senna Adjus. Wow, at such a young age, can you tell me what you're feeling in this moment?
First of all, cheers to everyone for coming out. Awesome turnout. Mum and Dad to stick with me all year and put up with me, taking me to far as South Australia. The whole of ASVK, it's fun racing and all the competitors, and yeah, that's it.
I mean, the journey this year has obviously been big, lots of double duties. You've obviously been very busy fitting in a school schedule, but take us through the last lap today. What was going through your mind thinking, I'm going to cross the line, I'm going to be a champion?
I was like 7th on going into the first lap, and I thought I have to make something special here, and I come out of turn 9 first. Didn't think anyone was going to pass me into there, so yeah, it was a bit risky because I got slipstreamed down the line for the second in the last race. So other than that, yeah, I just took a breath and just hoped I could get there, and I got it done.
Let's not forget tomorrow, like what, you pack your bag tonight and you go back to school tomorrow, just like a boring Monday, is that right?
Train, school.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for him. We hope he has a really big celebration tonight and with his family. Senna Adjus, your champion for 2019.
Cheers.
Okay, we'll get the guy that finished second, Hunter Ford. Well done, a very big weekend for you. Take us through that race.
Oh, well, I just wanted to beat Senna, really. It was all just like who could make the win. It was who would get it to the line and tried our hardest. Senna wanted to let me pass the whole last lap, but I wasn't hacking it.
Thanks, Hunter. A fantastic season for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, well done. Give him a big round of applause. And in third position for that race, Seth Crump. Great work. Nice and hot out there for you. A bit of wind now. Thankfully, no rain.
Yeah, I would have probably preferred rain. I think I would have had a better chance winning. I think all year it's just been a bit of a joke, this class, and they've made a lot of rule changes, but they've never made a rule change for the KTM. So I think I've been riding really well just to be up there with them, and I just hung in there for that last one and think I did a pretty good job.
Well, we think it's been a sensational clash to watch, don't we, ladies and gentlemen? Your top three. Give them a round of applause. And just finally, a very big congratulations to Laura Brown for being the fastest female this week. And thank you to Richie and the guys at AGV. She'll be presented with this beautiful helmet.
Yeah, congratulations to Senna Adjus, our champion. Congratulations to him for the race win. And also Laura Brown for being the fastest female. Championship points. Senna Adjus takes the win on 384, 1 point ahead of Max Stouffer on 383. Hunter Ford on 309 seals third place in the championship. And Seth Crump, that last result gets him up to fourth place in the championship, ahead of Yanni Shaw, Johnny Litchis in sixth, Brandon Demery in seventh, Zach Levy, Luke Johnson and Ben Baker round out the top 10. Highlights now of Supersport 300, the last race for the YMI Supersport 300 class for the year, and Hunter Ford started from pole position. He got a cracking start, but it was Max Stouffer that led them through the first turn, on the entry to the first turn, but then the Yamaha duo of Zach Levy and Hunter Ford swept around the outside, and as Senna Adjus said, he was way back in 7th on the first lap.
Yeah, Senna Adjus certainly had work to do, but he used the slipstream very effectively, as did Seth Crump, to put their machines up towards the front of the pack, and they were side by side through turn 1 as the race went on. Seth found the pace throughout the weekend and managed to be up there, had a little bit of a moment there, but it was Zach Lever who tried to dive up the inside on his number 87 Puma RV's machine.
Well, as he said, he's been riding the wheels off that KTM all year. It was good to see him get a good result in the last race of the season, as he was sitting in second place behind our race leader, Senna Adjus. But then it was Hunter Ford that made his way up to try and challenge at the front on board the Yamaha R3. He came down the inside at Suzuki Corner. He's been fast all weekend, Hunter Ford, and no surprise to see him taking the lead in the dying stages of the race.
Absolutely. The last person that you want to see behind you is Hunter Ford, because you know he will dive past you at every opportunity he got, and that is exactly what he did. But on the straight, coming towards the end of the race, Luke Johnson started to make appearance on his number 25 Kawasaki, winner in race 2 earlier today. He was making his way towards the front.
Senna just led them out onto the straight, and as they came across the line to take the checkered flag, he'd done enough to win the race. He'd done enough to win the championship, and he took the championship by 1 single point over Max Stouffer. Congratulations to him. A short break coming up. Motorsports TV Supersport, the final race after this break.
Welcome back to Sydney Motorsport Park. This is the final stop. It is round 7 for the Motul Pirelli Australian Superbike Championship, and I'm on the grid, a bit of a windy grid at the moment, but the sun has been shining all weekend and no rain forecast at this stage until later on this afternoon, which is great news. We're just about to get into our final race, race 2 for the Motorsports TV Supersport class, which has been very exciting this year. The championship was wrapped up at Phillip Island by Tom Taparis, and our very own Steve Martin caught up with him earlier this weekend.
Well, Tom, you did it. Champion for 2019 in the Supersport 600 class.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. Obviously an awesome season from my team and I. I think for us to get all but one of the wins was a really good effort, and there's still 2 races to go tomorrow, so can't wait to get out there, and hopefully it's not raining like it's supposed to, and we can have a great ending finale to the season.
What was it like when you got home and you woke up the next morning after that victory, that Supersport championship? It must have been a sensational feeling.
Yeah, of course. The last couple of years, I've been trying to win. This is my 4th season now in Australia in racing, and been trying to win for all those times. I've come close every time. I've been second twice and got a third, and to finally get a win, championship win in Australia is really good. So hopefully I can head overseas and stay over there.
Well, let's talk about overseas. I mean, we would hate to lose you because we love watching you ride that R6. You are so quick. But what does the future hold for Tom Taparis? You must have offers by now, and you must know what you're doing next year.
Yeah, thank you. Of course I love racing here and whatever, but I think for me, I need to get overseas now while I've just won the championship. But to answer your question, I've got an opportunity now to get into the European Supersport Championship, which is just World Supersport minus the Australian round and the Thai round and the Argentinian round. So, get over there hopefully and get into the World Supersport Championship and have a real crack. We'll see how we go.
You must be pinching yourself with the thought of racing against those guys full time. We know that you spent a lot of time overseas this year, mixing it up, and everywhere you've gone, you've been competitive. I mean, what's that feeling like to know that you're as good as it gets? You can match it with the best in the world.
I don't know if I'm as good as it gets, but yeah. It's been great. I got to do 2 wildcards in the World Supersport Championship, and both times I've improved. So it would be great to get over there full time, a variety of different tracks and whatnot, and really give it a good crack. So looking forward to next year. Hopefully it can all come together, and would love to get over there and have a real hot crack.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
Tom Edwards, it's been great to have you back on the grid. And yes, hello to Park & Co, your team over in Europe. Hey, Tom Taparis has only been beaten once this year. Can you beat him for the final race? What do you have to do?
I was pretty close in the last one, but struggled a bit with the tyres at the end of the race. We've made a few changes to the bike, so I'll try and keep strong and give him a push the whole race.
Go get him.
Thanks.
Boys.
Thanks very much, Emma. Great to hear from Tommy Edwards there. Great addition to the championship for the final round. Steve Martin, of course, been racing in the Supersport 300 World Championship with that Park & Go team overseas all year. And what an immediate impact he made coming back and racing a Supersport machine for the first time.
Yeah, impressive run in race one. That really was a second place finish for him. But, one of the few times that someone's been able to hang with Tom Taparis for most of the race. So pretty impressive to see. Tom's only been beaten once in this class so far this year.
Back down to M.
Brock Pearson, hey, you're getting taller, but congratulations. You ended up finishing second in the championship for 2019. Well done.
Yeah, thank you. It was a good first race. Did what I needed to do and got the right points, and now it's time to go out and enjoy this second race and see what we can do.
Have fun, enjoy.
Too easy, thank you.
Yeah, great to see Brock Pearson get a good result. He's had a couple of years punctuated by injury, and good to see him back. He's been on the pace at all of the rounds. Steve Martin in second place is a good result for him to springboard him into 2020 championship.
Yeah, he was 6 in the race earlier on today, but of course he was in championship finishing mode. He wrapped that second place up. So I'm really looking forward to him letting loose in this one. Hopefully he can be up there a contender. I mean, it's going to be on all of these guys' minds to try and take it to that number 1 machine there, Tom Taparis. Remember, this will be the last race that he has on Australian soil.
So many other podium possibilities with Jack Passfield on bike number 42, Calum Sprigs on board bike number 50, and also Ollie Bayliss, can't throw him out of the mix. Back down to M for one quick update before we get underway.
Avalon, just quickly, your bike blew up on Friday, so good to see you on the grid. Good luck for this one.
Thank you. Cheers. I'll pit it and see what happens.
We've enjoyed watching you this year.
Avalon Biddles has been fast. She made a debut in the championship at round 3 at the Ben Motorsport Park. She's been to every round since, and she's had some very strong results too, Steve.
Yeah, she certainly has. I mean, really good to see her in the championship. Remember, she's Supersport New Zealand champion, and to come here this weekend probably hasn't gone her way with the issues that she had earlier on in the weekend. Her bike caught on fire, but apart from that, she's really proven to be a contender.
2 other podium possibilities that we didn't get a chance to mention before we just went back down to Emma there. Nick Limington on board bike number 27 has had a bit of a difficult weekend so far, and also Aidan Hayes missed out on the podium in race number 1 this morning by a very, very slim margin. He'll be pumped up at the last round of the championship in front of his home crowd.
Absolutely. Really looking forward to seeing what Aidan Hayes can do. There he is on the number 46 Fluoro machine out front. He was sensational in race 1. Best race I've ever seen him had. I know he's had a couple of podiums in the past, but the way that he rode that bike was really, really good. Keep an eye on Ollie Bayliss as well. We better mention him considering he came through the pack to get that last spot on the podium early today in race 1. So Ollie Bayliss on the number 68 machine, the orange liveried machine. You can just see it there in the background. Another guy to watch.
Yeah, the youngest ever rider to compete in the Australian Supersport Championship. 15 years old when he started this year, and he's had an unbelievable debut year in the championship. But with a name like Bayliss, no surprise to see that the young man is extremely quick. Tom Taparis, the champion, will start from the first row of the grid with Tom Edwards and Jack Passfield joining him on row 1.
Calum Sprigs, Aidan Hayes and Brock Pearson are on your row 2.
Nick Limington out of 7th position. Ollie Bayliss and Jack Hyde join him on row 3.
And it looks like it's a 3-row lockout for the R6 with Reece Belling, Richie Dibben and Ty Lynch. Richie Dibben having a crash earlier on today, row 4.
Yeah, Dallas Ski will start at the next row of the grid. I think I saw him out there on the grid as well too, so obviously that injury that he had at the crash at turn 2, not enough to keep him out of the final race of the season.
Yeah, and there's Jack Passfeld, of course. Everyone out on their warm-up lap now. The last moment just to make sure that everything's up to temperature, get the tyres right, get those brake pads up to temperature. If they put new pads in, bed them in. It's also a good moment right now, Phil, where you can just like take that last breath. No one's getting in your ear. The race is about to start. You can start to concentrate on the next laps ahead. We've decided the champion, Steve. We've decided second place in the championship. Third place in the championship is still well and truly up for grabs with a couple of riders in contention. Nick Limington, Ollie Bayliss in contention there as well, and Aidan Hayes is certainly in that mix on board bike number 46 as we get ready to go racing for Motorsports TV for the final time in 2019. Tommy Edwards taking his time to get up to the grid like he did earlier today. There he is.
I was going to say he didn't do a stoppie like he did before, but there he did. Right on cue, pulls into position. Looks like everybody has taken up their positions on the grid. So, Taparis, the champion, starts from pole position. Motorsports TV for the final time in 2019. Race 2 over 11 laps. Supersport is go as we make our way down to turn 1. Tommy Edwards gets a cracking start from the front row of the grid, and coming through the field, it looks like Calum Sprigs is also going to go and try around the outside. He'll slot back into 4th position now as we take the run through YMI and down towards turn 2 for the first time. Brock Pearson's also got a good start on board bike number 17.
Yeah, well, Brock Pearson's got nothing to lose now. He's wrapped up that second in the championship, so let's hope that he can fire it up. There's Aidan Hayes. Not as good a start as he would have liked, but up the inside to him in the middle of the pack at the moment. Working his way forward, trying to get a podium on home soil for him.
Well, Edwards has pulled the ears back and he has gone off like a cut cat as they make their way through the first couple of sectors of the Sydney Motorsport Park layout, the 3.93 kilometre version of the Sydney Motorsport Park venue. And Tommy Taparis has closed him down now. Passfield has come along for the party, and Calum Sprigs. We've got a lead group of 5 as we make our way up through the YMI corner and around back into the view of the big crowd here at Sydney Motorsport Park for the final round.
Yeah, it's good to see so many people coming out to watch this one. It's going to be a cracker, and it is still Tommy Edwards. Remember, he's fairly new to the 600, so he is a very, very quick learner. And talking about improvers, Jack Passfield. What a ride he's coming. He's come from nowhere midway through the year to being a contender now.
Yeah, scored podiums last time out at Phillip Island at round 6 of the championship and has been on the pace ever since. Calum Sprigs has been a sporadic appearance this year. He hasn't competed at all of the rounds, but when he has, he's been well and truly in the mix for podium positions. And Brock Pearson, good to see him get off to a good start. That's one thing that's held him back this year. He usually doesn't get a good start and has to work his way through the field. The one thing that's been noticeable about Brock Pearson in 2019 is his end of race pace.
Yeah, he has. He's one of the few guys that can just keep banging those laps out. So he's in a very good position at the moment for about lap 8, lap 9, because that's when he seems to be able to manage the tyre situation better than some of the other guys out there. So he'd be feeling pretty happy sitting where he is position-wise at the moment.
So it is Edwards that leads on bike number 64, the Yamaha YZF R6, the Bike Biz machine, with Tom Taparis on the Landbridge Transport Yamaha right behind. There's Chris Quinn, one of the most experienced riders in the field, been racing Supersport for about 12 or 13 years. Unfortunately, we've got one back in the pits. I think that might be Brodie Malouf on board bike number 18. That's unfortunately looked like he had a problem, was late out onto the grid.
Yeah, he started from pit road, didn't he? So.
Yeah, so some problem there with the machine has held him out of the last race of the season.
But this is looking pretty impressive so far for the man out front, Tommy Edwards. Normally by now, Tom Taparis has made his way past. Oh, we've lost one in the background. We've lost a couple. Is that Bayliss? That's Ollie Bayliss waving goodbye to his bike with Aidan Hayes.
So Hayes and Bayliss out at turn 9. You can see they were having a big duel on the brakes down there into the hairpin, and unfortunately they have both crashed out. They may be able to remount and continue on.
Well, I reckon Bayliss nearly could have run to his bike. It was coming back to him. So
it was almost standing up.
Yeah, well, if he waved goodbye to it, he should have given it a come here, and it may have. Anyway, back to the front, and a little bit of a gap now for the number 64 out front.
Is that Passfield having the audacity to try and challenge Tom Taparis on the brakes in towards turn 1 there?
The other thing is that like Tom Taparis has been in such a class of his own. Yet, so both of those guys are back out on track and next to each other. Of course, we didn't see what caused that issue, but looks like they're going to get another chance to do it again later on. So we'll be able to keep an eye on that. Maybe we'll get a replay, but it's definitely something happened between those two.
So it is Edwards, Taparis, Passfield, Pearson and Spriggs. Here it is. Here's a replay. You can see them there. I saw them battling for position. And then, unfortunately, the next shot we saw was that we heard was the sliding bike on tarmac sound.
Here's the mistake. Look at this. He's got his hands in the air and he waves goodbye. He should have been saying, come here. If he did that, I reckon he might have been right. But nevertheless, he's up and he's back on the bike. All jokes aside, though, he had a brilliant race one. Ollie Bayliss, what a year he's had. I mean, he is learning in a hurry, doing an absolute great job.
And would have to be a serious championship contender for the 2020 season as we look now at still Edwards leading from Taparis, but Passfield has closed right in. He has got the same pace. In fact, he's the fastest man on track. The first flying lap of this race was a 1:33.777. The fastest man, Jack Passfield.
The conditions are slightly warmer than they were this morning. The track here at Sydney Motorsport Park is greasy in the afternoons, and I reckon that it does look like it's a bit greasy out there at the moment. Perhaps there's nothing that Tom Taparis can do. I can't imagine him hanging around like this if he could bolt. I think he's like thinking, what do I do now? And here he goes up the inside. No, he can't, because Tommy Edwards is strong on the brakes. Let's remember that this is a guy that's been racing overseas with the 300 World Supersport Championship all year long. He's used to battling with 10 or 15 guys at once.
Well, that's what you made the point this morning, Steve Martin, that we're on lap 4 of the race now. He hasn't had anyone actually barging into him like he would have in the Supersport 300. It's a relative holiday for Tom Edwards at the moment.
Well, I think things are about to change because Tom Taparis doesn't take long to warm up, and he does not like finishing second, especially if we look at his resume. He's won every race this year except for one.
He's also had a fair few pole positions as well. I can only think of, was it Morgan Park, where he lost out pole position to Nick Limington. As we come round through the back end of the circuit now and back down into the hairpin at turn 9, the scene of that incident. Oh, Taparis! Oh, talk about corner entry speed. He almost gave Tommy Edwards a bloody nose there as he came around the outside and literally slammed the door square in his face.
Yeah, that was a very impressive move. That's the sort of move that shouldn't be able to be done. Tommy Edwards tried to block the inside line, and Taparis, as you see right now, just lets the brakes go, uses that mid-corner speed, washes the speed off with the front all the way around the corner, maintains that perfect line with the bike sliding all the way through the corner, gets on the gas and says, well, now you can follow me for a while.
Oh, that was a massive move from Taparis as Edwards goes back down the inside on the entry into turn 1.
That's a brave move from Edwards. Now he's saying, now I'm starting to have a bit of fun.
Well, these two have raced against each other years ago in the Supersport 300 Championship. We've just seen Supersport 300. We know how close the racing is there. These two have just stepped it up now onto 600 Supersport machines. We've got someone down at the back of the field there. Is that Calum Sprigs on board bike number 50? It is. There goes Nick Limington through, but it's all over for Calum Sprigs. There will be no podium for him today, unfortunately. Doesn't look like he'll be able to get that bike up either. Meanwhile, back out front, it's Tommy Edwards still doing a super impressive job. He hasn't got a lot of experience on a 600, does he, at all? No, I think this is his first race on a 600 as far as I'm aware. He may have ridden one at a track day, but he's been racing Supersport 300s overseas for the...
And he raced 300s here. He won the championship here in the 300 class. Boy, this is super impressive from Tom Edwards. Up the inside this time goes Tom Taparis.
Just going to show you he can go any line into turn 9 that he likes. Down into the hairpin, it is Taparis that once again takes back the lead. But I tell you, we're talking before about Tom Taparis is on the brand new Yamaha R6. Tommy Edwards on the older model Yamaha R6. Obviously a well-developed bike from the Bike Biz team, but there's no shortage of top speed on board bike number 64.
Jack Passfield's got himself in a good position at the moment. There's pretty much daylight between him and Brock Pearson back in 4th position. So it's looking like he's in a pretty good spot for a podium at the moment.
It's going to be interesting to see what sort of speed that Brock Pearson has got towards the end of the race. And this is advice coming through that the incident at turn 9 between Bayliss and Aidan Hayes is under investigation from Race Direction.
Yeah, as you would expect, because both of those guys didn't crash on their own. They came together, so it's a matter of who was on the inside probably caused that one.
Under investigation post-race, and I'm pretty sure that there'll be 3 views of that. Each rider's view and then the view of race direction.
That'll be right.
So it is Taparis that leads Edwards. An exciting finale to the Motorsports TV Supersport Championship for 2019. Our world-class rider who's won the championship here at home, and our world-class rider who's been doing the job on the world stage in Supersport 300 racing, out front now with Jack Passfield, the fast learner that's been on the podium multiple times over the last couple of rounds in a solid 3rd place.
That just goes to show you how good Jack Passfield's doing at the moment, to be able to mix it with the quality of the riders up front. Jack Passfield's put himself in a really good position, and I'll tell you what, he'll be learning a few tricks being this close to these guys as well, as they head up the hill now, up the KTM straight through the AGV flip-flop there. All just on the edge of the tyre as they head onto that main straight again, tuck in down the Motul Pirelli straight. This seems to be where Tommy Edwards is able to get in the slipstream and just slipstream past, but I reckon that Tom Taparis has put the hammer down this time. He's gone through lap time wise 30-8. He was half a second a lap quicker than the man behind him, so Tommy Taparis has decided to put the hammer down.
But he also said at the end of race 1 that he went pretty hard pretty early. His tyres were gone at the end. Maybe he's played a little bit more smarter game in this one race strategy wise. He's held back a little bit in the first couple of laps. Now he's starting to apply the pressure, but looks like Tom Edwards has got the pace to go with him as well. And just on Jack Passfield, before his podium at Phillip Island at the last round where he got 3rd in race 1, he was then 4th in race 2. His best finish in this class was 8th. It has been a miraculous end-of-season improvement for Jack Passfield. Whatever he's doing, keep it up.
Yeah, well, he's got some good people in his pit box down there. Sean Sutcliffe is my old technician, so Sean Sutcliffe knows how to win around this circuit, so maybe Jack
and would know how to deal with difficult riders.
Absolutely.
Ollie Bayliss back on track after that incident at turn 9.
Looks like he hasn't got a foot peg. It's going to be interesting to see.
We're watching Ollie Bayliss on track. He's had that incident at turn 9. Emma's in the pits with his dad, Troy Bayliss.
Hey, Troy, bad luck for Ollie there, but great to see you got a podium today. And all in all, a great effort for 2019.
Yeah, it's been a good learning year for Ollie, and he's had some really good results, so I'm very happy for him. It's a little bit of a shame that him and Aiden have had a little coming together there, and they've both had a little crash. So, you know, they're back out and going, but it's been good. But, you know, very importantly for this afternoon, the stage is set for Mike to hopefully have the ride of his life, and we're hoping that, you know, everything turns out.
Do you think he can get it done? Is he going to be the champion for 2019?
I'd like to think so. He's in a good frame of mind, and the team's been working great around him. We've got a lot of supporters here this weekend, and of course I wish him the best, and I wish everyone the best, really.
It's been a pleasure chatting to you this year. Thanks, Troy.
Cheers.
Looking at Ty Lynch there, having a good battle with Andrew Edser. Andrew Edser, one of the very few non-Yamaha riders in this championship in 2019.
Yeah, not many Kawasaki's in the championship, not as many as there used to be. The Yamaha just seems to be an all-round easy privateer bike to have, so perhaps that's the reason. Probably a little bit newer design as well than the Kawasaki, but nevertheless, I'll tell you what, if Tommy Taparis was on that Kawasaki, it'd still be up the front.
Also, I think it's been a great showing from Suzuki this year. They were showing some great pace in the hands of Reid Batty. Unfortunately, he was injured in the race at Winton and has taken no further part in the season. But hopefully we'll see him back in 2020 as well. He is in the paddock this weekend and probably looking for a ride to get back to the front of either the Supersport or Superbike fields for next year.
Up the inside goes Edson Reese Belling. He's on a bit of a charge, isn't he, at the moment, Andrew Edson? But Belling strikes straight back the Victorian bricklayer, doing what he does best, and that's riding a motorcycle.
It's the old, you can't be fast in and fast out. You've got to be one or the other.
But look at Edson on the ZX6. He's so strong on the brakes, isn't he? Just zipping past everyone there. He's on a bit of a mission.
And right on the back of that group is Avalon Biddle on board bike number 51. That bike was on fire in pit lane.
And you're literally on fire, wasn't it?
It was literally on fire. And first man on the scene with the fire extinguisher, Troy Bayliss, put the fire out. Jeff Dillon, her mechanic, has done a great job to get the bike up and running when it looked like her weekend may have been finishing after practice 2 on Friday.
Up in smoke. But nevertheless, good to see Avalon Biddle out there. She's put in some really strong performances in this Australian Motorsport TV Championship.
And as you mentioned earlier, Steve, it's great for the second year running to have the reigning New Zealand Supersport champion come over and compete in the Australian Supersport Championship.
Yeah, absolutely. Gee, Edsa wide then. He's really strong on the brakes, but it looks like he just may have overdone a little bit there.
He really did the double apex at turn 2.
Yeah, and a little bit more. Respelling up the inside. These two guys are having a really good crack at it, aren't they? Pretty impressive stuff.
Just looking at the points too, I think with that incident between Aidan Hayes and Ollie Bayliss over there at turn 9, I think what that will do is secure third place in the championship for Nick Limington. Currently sitting in 6th position, and after an up and down season, a couple of difficult rounds, that's a good result for the young, hard-charging South Australian, the only man at the moment to have taken a race win from Tom Taparis this year.
Yeah, absolutely. We haven't mentioned Nick much this race. He's having a bit of a lonely race on his own back there in 6th position, but this is a good cementing year for him to get 3rd in that championship. Back out front, though, I noticed that Tommy Edwards has just done a 33.7, 0.3 quicker than Tom Taparis. So he's on a charge again. This could go down to the wire.
Well, Tom Taparis has responded with a 33.6, 0.3 faster than Tom Edwards on the last lap. The gap at the moment is 0.7 of a second. So it's not quite that psychological 1 second barrier for Tom Taparis. And I think Edwards is close enough that he can just get the sniff of Taparis' exhaust fumes, and he knows that he is in with a red-hot show here, because they are coming round now. They are on the 10th lap of an 11-lap journey, so 1.5 laps to go for Edwards to try and reel in the 2019 Motorsports TV champion.
Well, it's going to be interesting because Tom Taparis hasn't really been under too much pressure in the last laps of any race he's been in. He's pretty much been cruising because he's had that much of a lead. But right now, this is the most pressure he's been on in the last lap for a long time.
We'll remind you too that the lap record here has stood since 2008. Jamie Stauffer, a 1:32.654. Obviously, different technical rules back in 2008 for the Supersport class. And these engines nowhere near as modified as the rules were allowing back then. But just goes to show you how far tyre and motorcycle development has come along, that pretty much a standard engine with some upgraded suspension parts can get round a Supersport machine here at Sydney Motorsport Park in the mid-133s. That would have qualified you okay in the Superbike class.
Yeah, absolutely. But Tom Taparis has really put in a quick lap this time round. He's pulled out a big gap over Tom Edwards this time. It'd be interesting to see 33.6, fastest lap of the race for him. So he's been conserving his tyres. He's laid the gauntlet down and said, well, Tommy, if you want this one, you're going to have to earn it.
Yeah, everyone back in the, apart from our race leader, back in the 34s on that lap. And you can see there the Lambridge Transport machine of Tom Taparis has just pulled out a little bit of a gap. Obviously, it closes up on the brakes as they come in towards turn 2 for Tom Edwards. But Taparis will stretch that out again as he makes his way across the hump and down into Motorcycling Australia corner, turn 4.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult for Tommy Edwards to pull it back from here, but this is even a big improvement on race 1. Like, he's going to finish pretty close, probably a quicker overall race time as well to the man in front, Tommy Taparis. But it's not over until it's over. He's still got half a lap to go.
Also, too, we haven't seen the late race pace of Brock Pearson. He's dropped back into the 35s. In fact, Jack Hyde behind him was 0.6 of a second faster on that last lap, but he's got a pretty handy lead, has Brock Pearson over Hyde of just on 1 second, so should be able to maintain 4th place in this race.
It's a good race for the podium runners at the front. Really impressed with this man, though. 42, Jack Pasfeld. He's come from nowhere. Stay Upright sponsorship for him as well. Good to see. He's certainly learned a thing or two from them, hasn't he?
Well, final corners now for 2019 for our champion for Motorsports TV, Supersport, Tom Taparis. He comes out onto the Motul Pirelli start-finish straight for the final time. He will take the checkered flag. An almost perfect season of race wins for bike number 1, Tom Taparis, as he comes across the line. He takes the win, and across the line in second place will be Tom Edwards. A great debut in the championship for the rider on board bike number 64. And Brock Pearson gets across the line in 4th place, just ahead of Jack Hyde on 28. A very good performance from Jack Pasfield in 3rd place, but Jack Hyde, another impressive youngster to keep your eye on for next year.
Yeah, absolutely. He's another guy that's sort of come from nowhere. Reece Belling, good job from him. Didn't see where Andrew Edsa ended up on that Kawasaki. They're having a good battle, but...
Actually, I think Avalon Biddle may have got him on the last lap. Avalon Biddle gets up to 8th position in the end. A great result from the New Zealand Supersport champion, but no one can get near this man, Tom Taparis. He'll celebrate in style tonight. He's got a big trophy to pick up for the Motorsports TV Supersport Championship, and he'll be able to have a good celebration and concentrate now on preparing for 2020.
Yeah, and what better way than to win the last race that you're going to ride in Australian soil for a while. He really deserved that win. Brilliant ride, even with the pressure from Tommy Edwards. And Tommy Edwards, first race on a 600. Boy, did anyone tell him it was a 600? Maybe not. Maybe he thinks it's a 300. Who knows? But he's riding it brilliantly.
Well, confirmation of those results. Tom Taparis takes the win by 2.595 seconds over Tommy Edwards on board bike number 64. Great debut for him on the Bike Biz machine. Jack Passfield, another podium for the rider on board bike number 42. Then it was Brock Pearson in 4th, Jack Hyde in 5th, Nick Limington in 6th, and secures 3rd place in the Motorsports TV Championship. Reece Belling in 7th, Avalon Biddle in 8th, a great ride for her. Ty Lynch in 9th, and Dallas Skier rounds out the top 10.
Chris Quinn in 11th position, a good result for him. Luke Mitchell in 12th. Aidan Hayes didn't nearly get on the podium like he did in race 1 today because he came down with Ollie Bayliss. They finished 13th and 14th together. Andrew Edser had an off, which ended his vault. So did Calum Sprigs, and Brodie Maloof didn't finish the race.
Well, our top 3 will be down with Emma in just a moment, but there's some celebratory burnouts from 1st and 2nd in the championship. Can't wait to hear from the top 3. We'll join them after this break. Welcome back to Sydney Motorsport Park, the final round of the 2019 Motul Pirelli Australian Superbike Championship. We have just seen the final race for the Motorsports TV Supersport class. Our champion, Tom Taparis, has taken another victory, but it's great to see our overseas campaigner, Tom Edwards, back. He's joined on the podium by Jack Passfield, and they're with Emma.
Yeah, starting with Jack Passfield in 3rd position, a great way to end your season with plenty of podiums. Well done.
Yeah, it's been really good. Great way to finish off the season and carry some confidence into next year. Good to work hard, give you something to look forward to next year. It's really good.
Great work. Enjoy the celebrations tonight. And in 2nd position, Tommy Edwards. We've really enjoyed having you back in the ASBK paddock this weekend. Great racing, well done.
Yeah, thank you. It's super good to be back. Great racing here, just as it was when I left at the end of 2017. It's really good to see how competitive the Supersport is. It's great to come back and try and chase Tom around. All weekend I've been trying to keep up, and I felt strong through the race. Overtook him a couple of times, but at the end of the race I just didn't have anything left in the bike, and Tom and his team have obviously set up his bike very well. Big congratulations to Yamaha Motor Oz for having such a great weekend and a good year with Tom. I'd like to thank Bike Biz heaps for giving me the suit, the bike, and pretty much let me race this week, and I wouldn't have been able to do it without him.
Thanks, Tommy. HBK is just getting bigger and better, so we'll see you back hopefully again next year.
Yeah, thanks.
And Tom Taparis, ladies and gentlemen, round of applause for your champion. And why not just collect another race win, 15 wins for your 2019 season, and we cannot wait to see you collect that trophy at the dinner tonight.
Thank you, Emma. Yeah, just topped off a fairy tale year for us. I think in the end we only lost 6 points for the season, which was what we were chasing. We were just trying to maximise every race, and in the end we got the win then on Tommy. So yeah, he's running really well though. It's so good to have someone of his calibre racing in World Championship come for the weekend, and I know he hasn't done a lot of time on the bike, so he's riding very well. But anyway, can't give it up for my sponsors enough. Macquarie Telecom came on board this weekend helping us out. My traditional sponsors, Ricky's been around forever helping me, and with Leader Nutrition. My family, my mum and dad, Sam Costanzo, Robbie and Marty, my mechanics, have just worked their butts off all year. The bikes have been perfect, and yeah, in the end, just what a year. I remember this year forever, and tonight will be good at the presentation. Can't wait.
Can't wait, and hold off on the drinks before I present you that trophy, okay? Thanks, Tommy. Good luck for 2020. Tom Taparis.
Thank you.
Well, congratulations to our Supersport podium getters. Tom Taparis did a great job in 2019, but we've still got to decide the Kawasaki Superbike Championship. That's coming up next. Don't go too far away. We've got Tom Taparis winning the championship on 401 points. Then it's Brock Pearson on 278. As we mentioned in that race, Nick Limington, 236 points, secures third position ahead of Aidan Hayes on 216. Bayliss in fifth, a great debut year for him on 206 points. Jack Passfield, watch out for him in 2020. Dallas Skier, Ty Lynch, Reece Belling and Reed Batty in the top 10. It's going to be a big year next year for Motorsports TV Supersport. But don't go too far away. Kawasaki Superbike coming up next. The championship is on the line.
The big players aren't out to play this week. They're all here with the same goal, to be number one. This is some of the closest, best and biggest racing we've ever seen in the Kawasaki Superbike class. And it all gets decided right here. Troy Herfoss, this is it. Final round, 2 final races. I mean, it's great for the fans, but did you expect it to come down to the wire yet again?
No, I didn't. At the start of the year, we had a slow start. Things just didn't go right for us, and also I wasn't making the most of some opportunities in the races. But then it all turned around at Phillip Island. We got on top of the bike and showed some good speed. And then the famous touch between Wayne and Mike, I come out of there with a lot of luck on my side, and now the momentum's swung and we're here and I'm leading the championship. It's a bit hard to believe, really.
So I know you said you've got respect for Troy Herfoss, but how about Mike James?
Look, I obviously, I've got respect for his ability on the bike, but off the bike, definitely not a lot of respect. The way that him and his team went about, in particular, not so much him and his team, him and Paul Free went about their attitude about the incident, down at turn 4 at Phillip Island in race 2. He's still gone down the road that it was, I took him out and it was entirely my fault. Obviously, race direction, reviewed the incident and just brushed it aside because there was nothing to be seen.
Well, I suppose the move that he made was quite aggressive, so I guess the responses are going to be aggressive in response to that. So at the end of the day, I've got my views on it, and I ended up in the gravel, and I'm not very happy about it. So I'm not going to have much good to say about it.
Crew Halliday coming back onto a Superbike at the start of the season. Did you see that you'd be in this position at the end of the year?
To be honest, not really. I said to the team when I signed the contract, this is sort of like a stepping stone back into it, but then we start to get results, and I think the 600 really did help me, come back onto the 1,000, pick my corner speed up, and it's just one of those things where we've been more consistent than I ever have on a Superbike, and we're here at the end. I've made my first mistake at the end of winning, and then one more at Phillip Island last round, but we're still in it for the title chase, and it's going to be interesting come Sunday.
When the race starts, it's not only about who's the fastest rider, it's about who knows how to race the race and get the checkered flag first.
It's going to be pretty full on, there's definitely elbows going to be thrown out. There will be some words probably said in hits afterwards, but it's definitely going to be aggressive racing, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm all for that.
We've been super strong, we've pushed for the wins, and when we've been at the front, we've been able to fight. The 2 races I've lost out of the last 6 have been by .0 something, so not much. So yeah, basically we're going to be right in it and push right to the end.
I think that this is going to be a tricky circuit to pass on. The competition's very strong. Everyone's as fast as each other. So one advantage that we've got is that the combination between my bike and myself, we're quick in a straight line. And so if I work on getting our last turn well, that'll be a good place to pass for me.
If it comes down to the last few laps, I mean, I don't think any of us really care if we finish second or third. We all want to win it, so I know that's the way I feel. And you can be sure that if I'm there within striking distance in the last few laps, I just have to have a go.
To get it.
The final stop for round 7 of the Motul Pirelli Australian Superbike Championship. This is it. It is race 2 of the Kawasaki Superbikes, and we're just about to find out who will be champion for 2019. And Brock Parks, can you pick it? This is a tough one. Half a point in it between first and second. Can you believe it?
Yeah, no, it's, come down to the last race with half a point. It's going to be an amazing race. The first one turned out to be, the 3 guys that are going for the championship up front. So, to be honest, I can't pick it. Some guys have already been champion and some haven't. So, when the pressure's on, that's when it counts, and we'll see who pulls through.
Thanks for being with us this week and in contention for the Asia Road Racing Championship at the moment. What do you think is going through the mind of these guys at the moment?
Yeah, I think that, they obviously they want to stay on the bike, and I guess it's nervous times. I'm just sort of trying to stay out of their way, but, here on the grid, it's you can feel the pressure amongst the boys for sure.
Thanks for coming. Enjoy. Okay, feeling the pressure, but I'm going to try and jump in there and see who I can chat to. Troy Hareforest, best of luck just quickly. It's all come down to this.
Yeah, this is it. One race championship, basically. So, yeah, all the best to the other guys, and
hopefully the race is half as exciting as the last one, but I hope the result's a bit different, but we'll see.
All the best to you. Go get him. All right, we've got lots of Troy fans out there, it looks like. Okay, let's head over to Yamaha. No, Cruz just getting his helmet ready. Why not head over to Wayne Maxwell? I'm going to see... Yeah, he's smiling. He wants to chat. Wayno, there's nothing left to say, just final thoughts.
Look, it's been an amazing journey. Proud of everyone in my team to get us into this position. And, yeah, one last roll of the dice.
And we're proud of you too, mate. Go get him. We're going to head further down because the guy that's leading this championship, we just want to chat to him really quickly. He's only leading by half a point, and we're going to get out. We're going to let him focus. We're going to be respectful because it's all or nothing. The championship is on the line for this race. We just wish him the best of luck. Ben Henry, wishing you the best of luck. Good luck for this one, mate.
Thank you very much.
Final comment?
We're going to win.
We're going to win. I like it. That's nice and simple. Freebie getting the tyre warmers off. Let's see who else we can chat to quickly. Might just get some comments from Dale Breedy. From a scale of 1 to 10, how nervous are you? About 20?
No, we're good. 1, ready to go.
He can get this in the bag?
Yeah, well, you can do it, yeah, for sure.
All right, might just quickly get some comments from Honda while they walk off the grid. Joshy, we've loved watching this here. Good luck for this one, mate. Go for a podium.
Thank you.
On you, Joshy, from Team Suzuki Extra. Matt Walters, on you, mate. Good luck. Fantastic season for him. Top privateer, looks like. Yamaha Racing Team boys, Dylan, Crew Halliday. Not in contention for the championship anymore, but he's had a fantastic season.
Yes, he has. Yeah, it's been pretty good. A bit unfortunate about the last one, but see what happens after this one, I guess.
All right, I'll be giving you the updates and all the goss from pit lane. This is it, the final race. I cannot pick who's going to win this championship. I cannot believe it is down to the wire. Here we go. It is the final race for the Kawasaki Superbikes. Over to you, Phil Harlan and Steve Martin.
Well, what an absolute cracker of a race we're up for, but what a circuit the Sydney Motorsport Park is. 3.93 kilometres in length. It's an absolute fastest corner into 200 kilometres an hour, fourth gear. You've got to be really deep into there and really brave because you slide the bike all the way out of the exit and into turn 2. It's tricky there and it's easy to crash. A quick shift up through the box into third gear and keep it steady on the res. Accelerate hard over the hump and down into the MA corner. You've got to be really careful through there. Hold it tight on the exit and a really quick flop through to the left. Watch the front, easy to lose the front there. Drive up the hill, hard braking, overtaking opportunities into here, especially in the last part of the race. Drive up to the old corporate hill and around the left-hander. It's blind there. Not too much of an opportunity to overtake, but turn 8 on the last lap. Watch it there. There's plenty of opportunity there. Just single file up through AGV and flip-flop into the next right. But there are opportunities to get through the middle on the inside here. Keep a key corner on there. The last part of this circuit is going to be really critical, and I'll tell you why. Because if you get out of that final corner, and we've seen it with Mike Jones, if he can lead there, he's probably going to be the one that can get over that line and win. But there's plenty of guys that are going to want to stop him this time out. He leads by half a point, but I'll tell you what, it might not be that way in half an hour.
Well, the riders are on their final warm-up lap now before the start of the final race for the 2019 season. Daniel Falzon starts from pole position. He's joined on the front row of the grid by championship contender Troy Herfoss and Crew Halliday.
Row 2, of course, it's Wayne Maxwell with Mark Kyoto. Great qualifying from him and Brian Starring. Keep an eye out. He was close last time out.
Mike Jones, championship leader, starts out of position number 7 on the third row of the grid, along with Josh Waters and Glenn Allerton debuting the brand new BMW here this weekend. Matty Walters, he's always a hard charger. Damon Rees is fast this weekend, and Lachlan Eppers is having his best ride in a while. For CC's the fast-starting South Australian and will start out of position number 13. Jamie Stouffer out of 14th was 6th in race 1. Keep your eye on the McMartin V4 Panigale. Ben Burke back in the championship. Good to see alongside Brendan McIntyre on his Suzuki and Sloane Frost all the way from New Zealand. Dominic De Leon out of 19th, Matt Tooley out of 20th, and Heath Griffin on board the Suzuki this weekend out of 22nd. And rounding out the field is Nathan Spiteri and Michael Edwards on his Yamaha. Well, it comes down to this, Steve Martin. A quick summing up of the results. Mike Jones, former Australian Superbike champion. Wayne Maxwell, former Australian Superbike champion. Troy Herfoss, dual Australian Superbike champion. Will Herfoss join the likes of Sean Giles, Josh Waters and Glenn Allerton as a 3-time champion? Or will Wayne Maxwell or Mike Jones come into 2 championship status? It is down to this one 13-lap race to decide the championship. It is all on the line here at Sydney Motorsport Park. 25 points for the win, 20 for second and 18 for third. Superbikes are going for the final time in 2019. A great start from the second row of the grid from Maxwell. Once again, can he sweep around the outside like he did in race 1? He does. And he leads the field through turn 1 for the first time. And hear the cheer go up from the grandstand.
That's a great move. And look at also Troy Herfoss is up there too. And Mike Jones has gone from the third row to second into the Kawasaki corner. What a big move by him.
Herfoss already up the inside of Jones as they come out of turn 2 for the first time. Jones had to stand the Desmo Sport Ducati up because Herfoss wasn't taking no for an answer.
Absolutely no room there, but at the front it's the 3 players in this one with Daniel Falzon in 4th position from pole.
Crew Halliday right there. Josh Waters has also got off to a cracking start on board bike number 21. Brian Starring right behind him. Also Mark Chiodo's got off to a good start on the second of the Penrite Hondas. Bike number 30 as the field streams their way up towards the back of the circuit now at turn 6. It is still Maxwell that leads from Herfoss and Jones. Our top 3 in the championship, our top 3 in the race.
Up the inside it looks like Troy Herfoss is already starting to have a look at the number 47 in front, but we know how strong Mike Jones is on the front of that Ducati as they head into turn 9 here. Up the KTM hill.
Matty Walters running wide at turn 9, keeps it on track. He'll be able to get back into the field as well. Crew Halliday's also on his way now up to 4th position, and he's trying to go with the leaders.
Yeah, there's certainly no settling into this one. This is for keeps. You can tell it already. You can tell it on the grid. And Crew Halliday's up there too now. And like you said, good to see Josh Waters. He's found something.
Looks like someone's lit the fuse of the 3-time Australian champion. Look at the speed of the Desmo Sport Ducati as he pulls out of the slipstream of Herfoss. But Herfoss just grits his teeth and tries to go back around the outside at turn 1. But Jones just had the better track position and tries to get a run out of turn 2 to get down the inside of Maxwell. Once again, as you said in race 1, he was very hard on the brakes and he's come down the inside of Maxwell. Herfoss up into 2nd position, Maxwell from the lead back to 3rd, and Crew Halliday looking for a way trying to get past.
There was no love lost on that pass either, was there? Mike Jones said, I'm coming through, I don't care what happens to you. That's the state that we're at right now.
And once again, as we saw in race 1...
Watch this. Herfoss is going to try and get him on the switchback and he goes through. You can't pass there unless it's the last race of the year and everything's up for grabs.
Well, as we said though, the back of the circuit is Penrite Honda territory. The front straight is definitely Desmo Sport Ducati territory. And the more that these riders chop and change each other, slow each other up, the more that it's going to bring Crew Halliday, Daniel Falzon, Josh Waters, Brian Starring and Mark Chiodo in on the party as well.
And everybody else in that leading group. It's quite a bunch there at the moment, isn't it? But Herfoss, he knows at the moment that it's all for nothing because I've just got this funny feeling that when they get onto that long front straight, the Motul Pirelli straight, that Ducati might just blast by.
Let's have a look at the lap times as they complete this first flying lap. It'll also be interesting to see who has made a different tyre decision to race number 1. We think in race 1, pretty much all of them went for the SC0 tyre, all the Pirelli runners that is. Wonder if they've gone for the same option in race 2.
There we go. Mike Jones takes the lead. No disputing the power of the Ducati. That was pure horsepower that got him in front then. But one thing we do know, Troy Herfoss doesn't want to finish second. He wants to finish first, but Jones, how deep is he on the brakes? And he pulls it up. That was incredible. He's wide. He's run wide there.
But not wide enough for Herfoss to get in because Jones got so much of a lead on the run into the corner. I didn't think he was going to get it stopped. I didn't think he was making the corner. I thought he was going to end up way off the track, the amount of corner entry speed that he carried there into turn 2.
Now, in a way, Troy Herfoss needs Wayne Maxwell up there, doesn't he? Because if it was to finish Herfoss, then Mike Jones would be the champion.
By half a point.
So Herfoss needs to get past, slow this down, and keep Wayne Maxwell up there because he needs him between himself and Mike Jones if he wants to be champion.
Sneaky look over the shoulder there for Herfoss on the exit of turn 6. They come down into the hairpin now at Suzuki corner. It is still Jones that leads Herfoss, Maxwell, the two Yamahas of Halliday and Falzon are well and truly in the mix. So is Josh Waters, Brian Starring. Mark Kyoto doing a great job this weekend on the second of the Penrite Hondas. His first year on the Penrite Honda, certainly been an excellent year for the young Victorian.
Yeah, he's had some really good results. I think back to the Bend, he got some great results at the Bend, was pretty much blew everyone out of the water for most of the race. So he's definitely a man on a mission. Back out front though, look at Jonesy now. He is really starting to stretch the field out. 30.6 last time through, quickest man on track.
The top five are all in the 1 minute 30 bracket. Then we go back to Josh Waters, a 1:31.7 in position number 6. So the pace is really starting to hot up now. We're on the 4th lap of the 13-lap journey. The top five have just got a bit of a break over Brian Starring, Josh Waters and Mark Kyoto on board bike number 30, the second of the Penrite Hondas. Jones nearly off the circuit. He was right out onto the yellow line there as he came across the top of the hump. He's using every part of the Sydney Motorsport Park layout he can.
He's got a very good point there as he goes into there. Nice and tight, doesn't leave any room. He's closed that off.
If it was to stay the same as it is now, Steve, championship points would be Mike Jones 286.5, Troy Herfoss 281, Maxwell 274.
Well, I guess Ducati would like it to be that way, wouldn't they? But I don't think anybody else out there wants it to be that way, and I mean Honda and Suzuki.
But as you mentioned, even if Troy Herfoss gets ahead and finishes the race in first place and Jones finishes in second, Jones will be crowned champion by half a point. How important are those 4 points that he's got for 4 pole positions, along with the $2,000 in Elite Roads Pole Position Awards?
Yeah, I don't think he cares about the money right now, but I tell you what, those 4 points, as you say, can be the difference between winning this championship or not. But Mike Jones is just doing a brilliant job out front at the moment. He's stretching it out, just keeping everything nice and cool. And boy, I don't know what Herfoss has got to do, but he's got to just like come up with something, and he's got to hope that Maxwell can stay with him.
The top 3 all back into the 131s there, but the fastest man in that lead group, Crew Halliday, a 130.9.
Yeah, well, you said it earlier on. Crew is so fast around this circuit. Had his first ever Superbike win here. He knows what it takes. And he wouldn't have been very happy with race 1. He's in a much better position now. Championship's probably out of his grasp. But I'll tell you what's not out of his grasp, and that's glory here today. So he will give it everything it's got. Keep an eye on him towards the end of the race.
We're on lap 5 of the 13-lap journey up towards the back of the circuit at YMF corner, turn 6. It is still Jones. Bike starting to move around a little bit over the bumps there. That's the first time that the Desmo Sport Ducati has looked a fraction untidy on the entry into that corner.
Yeah, a little bit. That's basically the front is planted. Just the back is just moving around a little bit over the braking bumps there. That's because he's on the absolute limit. He's really in the zone and riding that bike to the limit. And the other guys are too, to stay with him. I mean, there's nothing left out there at the moment. No safety margin. These guys are playing for keeps.
It is both feet all the way over the edge of the cliff kind of stuff at the moment. And there's a little bit of gap starting now to develop between Jones and Herfoss at the front of this pack and Maxwell, who's fending off the hard-charging Crew Halliday, and the pole man Daniel Falzon on board bike number 25, who's had a smile on his face all weekend. He's just secured a job as a paramedic with SA Ambulance as well. His dream job, and he's been on the pace here all weekend.
Yeah, and although you say there was a bit of a gap, it's closed back down again. Not much in that. Tyre to tyre at the moment, so good to see that he's there. And that gap down now to just a couple of tenths.
There was 3 1/1000ths of a second between the lap times on the last lap between Jones in the lead and Herfoss in second place. Then we go back to Maxwell, a 31.3, 31.2 for Halliday, and a 31.3 also for Daniel Falzon. So the leaders on that lap about half a second quicker.
So we're at the point of the race now where the grip of the new tyres probably disappeared. They're riding on the setup now, and the tyres for sure are starting to move around. It was at this point in race 1 that we saw Troy Herfoss have more mid-corner speed, especially through that middle part of the track, and I'm starting to detect that that's the case now. So Jonesy is pretty much slowing him up around this back section, but when he gets on the straight, that thing's just a rocket ship.
Here we go up the KTM straight on the 6th lap. So we're about half race distance, or coming up to half race distance now, with Jones leading Herfoss. Just a recap of those championship points: 286.5 at the moment to 281. That's your live championship score. Mike Jones on track to become a two-time Australian Superbike champion as he pulls a nice little gap as they come down the Motul straight into turn one. But as we saw at Queensland Raceway, you don't count anything in the Kawasaki Superbike class until the checkered flag comes out. Remember there, Jones was leading, ran off the track at the back of the circuit at Morgan Park, and all of a sudden was fighting his way back through the mid-pack.
Yeah, he certainly was. Maxwell now in trouble from Crew Halliday behind. So it looks like just starting to drift off the pace like he did in race one. Whatever Suzuki changed to try and get more grip out of the GSXR didn't work here. He's had a sensational year though, has Maxwell. A couple of DNFs, one of them certainly wasn't his fault.
Well, so, both of them certainly weren't his fault, and he's only been off the podium twice in the rest of the races. So 4 races out of a massive championship year where Wayne Maxwell hasn't been on the podium. Halliday having a look up the inside, couldn't quite get the job done. You've got to get up pretty early to try and outbrake Wayne Maxwell. Yeah, his rear tyre might be cooked, but his front tyre is still certainly okay. Meanwhile, it is the Honda man back on the tail of Mike Jones. He's there, but the problem is that this part of the circuit where you need to be fast, this is where Jones is super quick. And we heard him say that he set his bike up to be quick out of the final corner as well. So he does get great drive out of this last turn here, the AGV corner, and that sets him up for a great top speed down the straight. Well, on the last lap, Jones was still in the 130s with a 130.936. What is he going to do now as they come across the line to complete the 7th lap? As there's some nervous looks there in the Honda garage. A 31.1 for Jones, a 31.0 for Herfoss. So Herfoss is matching the pace.
Yeah,
of the race leader.
He is, but he's going to have to do something pretty special.
Oh,
and he
he's
runs
in deep
wide.
there. In very deep at the entry to turn 2. Lost a couple of bike lengths as well, but we're getting into the land where that Honda is very good. Should be able to make up the distance by the time they get back to turn 9.
Yeah, he is, but you can also see the rear of the Honda now. Like, he is just like torching that rear tyre. He's almost riding it in more of a slide than the guy in front of him, Mike Jones. So really is starting to ask some big questions of the Pirelli rear slick at the moment.
Well, you know, there's one thing that there's no question about, and that is the fitness of these two riders. Oh, Herfoss, all out of control. How did he get that bike stopped and keep it on track? The thing was crossed up. He had the back wheel in the air. He is riding now everything he's got to try and stay in touch with the barnstorming Desmo Sport Ducati. Jones on the title line into the Suzuki hairpin on that occasion.
Yeah, that was just incredible stuff, the way that he just dove in. Have a look at this. Tried to go up the inside, couldn't quite do it, and bang, just a couple of millimetres in that. That could have ended not nicely, but probably pretty nicely for Wayne Maxwell. Nevertheless, that's the way that these guys work. They work in millimetres.
Here we go through AGV and YMF corners now and out onto the Motul Pirelli start-finish straight. They'll come down to complete 8 laps of the 13-lap journey. Here goes Herfoss, pulls out of the slipstream. He's not going to have the pace at the end of the straight unless he's a very late-breaking legend on the brakes, and that's what he is. He's got the lead now as Troy Herfoss. Has he got more pace than Mike Jones around the back of the circuit that he can run into turn 2 and establish enough of a lead by the time he gets back to the straight? He's into turn 2 very deep. He looked like he was on the ragged edge, but I think he might have been trying to find a way past. What has Herfoss got in his bag of tricks?
Well, I don't know what he's got in his bag of tricks, but what he needs to do is somehow slow the pace down. He needs Wayne Maxwell, he needs Crew Halliday to catch up and get in this fight, but it ain't going to happen. Like, these two guys are out on their own now. Mike Jones has done the hard work. He's pulled the two of them away, and now if it finishes like this, he'll be the champ.
Quickly down to M.
Boys, I parked myself in the right garage for the past 5 minutes. I've been watching all the action with the boss, Dion Creek. Dion, I mean, he makes some bold moves. Can he hold on?
Yeah, he's very determined to win, and he's throwing everything at this race, as you can see. So, yeah, pretty exciting, nail-biting stuff.
I tell you what, show us your nails. On a scale of 1 to 10, how nervous are you right now?
15.
Nice. Thanks, Dion.
Thanks.
Only 15. That's a surprise, Steve Martin. As Troy Herfoss, well, we know how determined he is. We know how determined Mike Jones is. We know how determined all of these guys are. But this is taking determination to a completely new level as Herfoss now is trying to hold on. He's weaving to the side of the track. Here comes the Ducati. It's got some extra speed. But Herfoss was late on the brakes last time. What can he do now? He's not taking no for an answer.
No, he's going to own that part of the racetrack. Mike Jones knows it. But Jones is good on the inside there. He's in position, and he does take him up the outside. The rear wheel off the ground. He could run wide here. He's gone really wide. Herfoss gets back through. Now this is racing.
This is the season finale that we've always wanted for the 2019 Motul Pirelli Australian Superbike Championship. As we said, if you had have written a script at the last round to set up the last round that we always wanted, it would have been exactly what happened in race 2, and this is the script that we wrote for the final race of the season. 2 of our championship contenders going hard at it at Sydney Motorsport Park, and Wayne Maxwell, I think, will hold on to 30 in the championship. We've got someone down, there's a yellow flag, no overtaking at turn 6.
Yeah, I think it's Daniel Falzon who's gone down there, so until they clear that bike up, that's one overtaking spot ruled out. So hopefully the marshals will be working on that to clean that part of the track up.
And also for Herfoss, because that's one of his overtaking places.
Absolutely. But nevertheless, Herfoss back in front. Let's just have a bit of a look here at how he goes in. Look at the rear wheel, just on the absolute limit. How much does he trust the front end of that bike? He runs wide over the dirty stuff. It's really dirty out there. Manages to pull it all together, gets on the gas, fires that Ducati. But in the meantime, Herfoss straight up the inside.
But how many times was that rear wheel off the ground as he made his way into the corner? It spent more time off the ground than what it actually did on. Here comes the Ducati again. Herfoss, has he got enough of a lead that he can hold the line into turn 1? He can. We know that Jones is fast on the exit of turn 1 and into turn 2, but they're both so late on the brakes. Was that Jones with his knee in the dirt there? Herfoss has gone in deep this time. I think Jones is going to say, right, I ran wide last time.
Herfoss has run wide. Line. It's Herfoss's turn.
Oh, he only left a very small gap there.
Up the inside.
Oh, I thought he was going to go back there, Steve.
He had a look at that in race 1, and I'll tell you what, the last lap, if there's a bit of a sniff of a gap there, it's. I think he's going to take it. He's looked at it a couple of times. That's your last card, your last ace, that overtaking manoeuvre there.
These two are pushing each other to new levels at the moment as we make our way around the back of the circuit. We're on lap 11 of 13 as they come round to complete this lap. There will be 2 laps to go. So the pressure is on.
They have decimated the field. Wayne Maxwell, 5 seconds back now. Just as we have another look at that manoeuvre up the inside. He goes in so deep, runs wide, does a big wide arc, and the Ducati man gets back up the inside. So Mike Jones gets back in front there.
Where was Maxwell? Maxwell's dropped all the way back to 5th position now. It's Crew Halliday that's up into 3rd and Brian Starring in 4th place.
Well, that's it. Game over for Maxwell. It's disappointing because he gave a really good charge from the middle part of the year.
Brian Starring's down. That looks like turn 9. So that means Crew Halliday is in a lonely 3rd position at the moment. Looks like it could be the end of the race for Starring and the BC Performance Kawasaki.
He looked a bit knocked about there, did Brian Starring. Up the inside he goes again. What a great move. I'll tell you what, he's found some speed. He's got some good drive out of that final corner as the Honda man. But Mike Jones, once again, side by side, who's going to give?
Well, Jones takes the lead. Herfoss, I think, just had to stand the bike up and let him through. Here he comes at the inside at turn 3. Jones had to stand the Desmo Sport Ducati up. Oh, this is unbelievable, Steve Martin. It's too close to call at the moment, but also Herfoss wants to win the championship. He wants to become a 3-time champion and join Glenn Allerton, Josh Waters and Sean Giles in that illustrious state. But also, it's the final race for his teammate, his crew chief, Sean Clark, who's been with him for so many years before he leaves the paddock at the end of the 2019 season.
Well, if he doesn't win, he's done him proud. This is a brilliant ride by the Honda man out front at the moment. Go Troy Herfoss, and also Mike Jones. What a result for him. He deserves this too. They both deserve it.
Remember, Mike Jones started the year off on a privateer Kawasaki. Troy Bayliss injured at the first round. Draft in Mike Jones for round 2. See what he does. Has a good round. Head to round 3. He's back on the bike. He's signed for the rest of the year. Desmo Sport Ducati have had an unbelievable year regardless of what happens in this race. But Troy Herfoss at the moment leads with the Desmo Sport Ducati right behind. As you said, any one of them will be a deserving champion. But at the moment, if it finishes this way, Mike Jones will be the champion.
A little bit of smoke coming off the back wheel there of Troy Herfoss's bike. I've got it detected. Here comes the Ducati as they head into turn 1. It is Mike Jones this time.
Final lap now. 3.93 kilometres to go to decide who will be the Kawasaki Superbike champion for 2019. And Jones, the points leader, leads the race. Can he get it into turn 2? Online. Can Herfoss get up the inside? He has a red hot go. He can't quite get through. Exit of turn 2 now, and it is Jones that still leads. Where is Herfoss going to plan an assault?
It's got to be at the bottom of the hill. He's going to try and dive up at the bottom of the hill. He's got to do it early in the lap, but he can't do it. Jones is too strong into there. We know that this is his favourite part of the circuit. It's going to be really hard. But
Herfoss on the flip-flop, on the change of direction. He's got him. He's got him. He's up the inside. He pushes Jones wide. Both got drive up the hill. But Herfoss, has he got enough of a lead now if he leads onto the straight to stop the Ducati's charge?
Maybe, but Jones squares it off. Be assured he's going to attack up the inside. He's got the drive too. His wheel's on the inside. He's gone through.
That's the third overtaking manoeuvre on this final.
But watch up the inside.
Will come down the inside. He does. Can he get it stopped? No, he can't. He stays on track.
It's all over.
Jones has got the lead back, and enough of a lead that Herfoss won't be able to reply. But he had a red-hot go. As we said, if he's on the last lap, you know that Herfoss is never going to not have a go.
Mike Jones, 2015 champion. He's odds-on favourite now. He's going to win a double. This is going to be sensational for Ducati, sensational for him.
As they come to the line now, it is Jones that leads out onto the final corner, and Mike Jones will be the 2019 Motul Pirelli Australian Superbike champion in the Kawasaki Superbike class by half a point. We thought that if he finished in second place it would have been, but in the end he does it by 6 points, 286.5 to 281, so 6.5 points for Mike Jones over Troy Herfoss, who gave it literally everything on the last lap. Crew Halliday will join them on the podium, and Wayne Maxwell will finish in 4th place. Jamie Stouffer bettered his 6th place in race 1 with a 5th in race 2.
What a result for him, but what a day, what a race. Those two boys, and look at that. They know that they've just had a special moment right there. Look at them, what a brilliant result. They really laid it on the line, and there's the respect from Wayne Maxwell. He didn't have an answer for it today, but boy, what a weekend, what a race. Glenn Allerton pulls up. There's a whole bunch of Australian champions that know what it's like to win, and the most deserved guy won on the day, and it was Mike Jones.
Well, just getting congratulations there from pretty much everybody, the whole field saying well done to Mike Jones. But what a season for Mike Jones. As we said, started off the year on a privateer Kawasaki to race the first round of the championship. Didn't have a ride for 2019. Came in to replace the injured Troy Bayliss, and he's now the 2019 Kawasaki Superbike champion. What a year for Mike Jones and Desmo Sport Ducati.
You're not telling me he's not going to have a tear in his eye when he pulls up.
A tear, maybe more than one. I'll tell you who else has got a tear in his eye. Troy Bayliss and Ben Henry, the team owners. There's Dave Maddox, the PR man for the team there as well, with the championship helmet.
First Australian championship for Ducati since 1999.
I wonder who was that won in 1999, Steve Martin.
Yeah, funny I remember that. But really glad that it's Mike Jones that could be the next one. Look at that, what a result. After the pressure, after not finishing the race at Phillip Island, after being taken out by Wayne Maxwell, after people saying, you can't do it, you're not strong enough, after the week qualifying yesterday, qualified on the 3rd row of the grid, what a result.
Well, the other thing is, though, too, that when you think about it, what it's proven once again is that qualifying doesn't really show anything in relation to race pace, and this season has all been about race pace. Every round, it's the end of the race that is the most important part for the riders that have set their bike up in Friday practice.
Yeah, absolutely. Today, though, today was all about guts and determination and doing things that a motorcycle isn't made to do. Those guys, having ridden these bikes, those guys were doing things. You can't normally finish 8 seconds in front of Wayne Maxwell. You can't, unless you're risking crashing every lap. Here we go, celebrate in style, light it up, baby. Go Mike Jones, what a result, Phil. He deserves that. Now that's a photo that'll be on the kitchen wall.
Well, congratulations to Mike Jones. We'll come back, we'll hear from our top 3 and our 2019 Kawasaki Superbike champion after a short break. Welcome back to Sydney Motorsport Park, the grand finale of the 2019 Motul Pirelli Australian Superbike Championship. And your champion for 2019, Mad Mike Jones, has just arrived in Park for May and celebrated with a massive burnout to acknowledge the fact that he is the 2019 Kawasaki Superbike champion. Can't wait to hear from our top three. They're with Emma.
Wow, ladies and gentlemen, your 2019 Australian Kawasaki Superbike champion, Mike Jones. Just let you take a deep breath, take it all in for a second, have a look around.
It feels good.
You are the champion. You got it done. Coming into that race, half a point. Hold on. Yes, speak.
Not the champion. Motorsport Ducati team have worked so hard for this. And obviously, me as a rider, I get all the praise because I'm riding the bike. But honestly, those guys, without the team, you just can't do it. So a big special thanks to Motorsport Ducati team, all of the team supporters, and all of my supporters as well, you know, my personal sponsors and everyone that's here today that support me. I just can't thank you all enough. I'm just so ecstatic. Thank you.
Let's take it back to the start of this year because very big shoes to fill, right? Troy Bayliss. Everyone knows Troy Bayliss, right? Where are you, Troy? Come on over, mate. Jump on in the celebrations. Big shoes to fill. Well, I won't interview. Yeah, you can step to the side, but you can be a part of it. Give him a big bit of a hug. Big shoes to fill. You must be so proud because, yeah, he did jump on the bike when you decided to jump out. And what pressure that would have been for you, Mike.
It was incredible, you know, going in these two races. We knew that we had to win. We had to win both races. I came here with a goal to take pole position in both race wins, and when we didn't get that pole position, that hurt a lot. I didn't ride very well, and I blame myself a lot for that. And, you know, at the end of the day, that was my fault mostly. You know, going in those next two races, I knew that I was, you know, starting from behind, and there was a lot of pressure to be able to come away with both race wins. But at the end of the day, I rode the best I possibly could. The team gave me the best they possibly could, and on the day where we were the best team.
Troy, very proud moment for you.
Of course, it's incredible for us at Motorsport Ducati. A big congratulations to Mike. He's a lovely guy and a great rider. And I love seeing when the dog comes out in him because he is a little bulldog. And congratulations to Benny and Paul, everyone in our team involved. It's been a great, and we're so happy.
Thanks, Troy. Well, we'll chat to the rest of the team. I'll get back to you, Mike. Let's chat about the weekend a bit more. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, he just wants to keep talking. Man, a few words usually.
No, I really want to say a big special thanks to K&R Hydraulics and Maverick Race Developments and also Triple X-Rated Race Suspension. Those guys gave me a bike to ride at the start of the year. I don't know if everyone remembers, but the first round I wasn't actually racing with Motorsport, and those guys gave me an opportunity to compete that weekend. So obviously without those points I wouldn't be here either. So it's a special thank you to those guys as well.
Let's chat about this weekend because yesterday, what was yesterday? No, today's Sunday. Friday, yes, you looked fast, and then qualifying yesterday, what happened? All fell apart a bit. The wheels fell off, and today you woke up a different person, it seems.
Yeah, definitely. Look, obviously it was, like I said, fastest guy yesterday in the morning session, and then like you said, fell apart. Honestly, I didn't ride the best or didn't ride as good as what I normally do, and ultimately that led to the 7th position. You know, with the competition as strong as it is, when you're off the game a bit, you know, it's only 4 tenths, but you're back a long way. So the competition's really strong, and the field's really fierce. So at the end of the day, that was my bad, and that's made us have to start from 7th position today.
Just finally, last few moments, that battle between yourself and Troy, what was going through your mind then?
Honestly, when I was out in front, I was trying my hardest. I wanted to be able to make a gap and get away. I wasn't looking after the tyre. I was just pretty much going as hard as I could. When Troy came past me, I thought I was in a bit of trouble. Admittedly, I panicked slightly, and I was worried that he was going to get away. But at that moment, immediately afterwards, I just said to myself, I'm not going to lose this championship, and I don't know what happened really. All eyes were on him and trying to catch him, and at the end of the day, I knew that we were both suffering with tyre towards the end of the race, and we were both struggling. So I don't know. It just worked out my way. Honestly, we were both Troy and myself were giving 100%, and it just went my way, and just very grateful for that.
Good on you. You've worked so hard. I look forward to presenting you with the trophy tonight at the awards dinner. Ladies and gentlemen, give him a round of applause. Your champion for 2019 from the Motorsport Ducati team, Mike Jones. And now we'll speak to the guy that finished second in the championship and second in the race. Give it up for him. He's had a stellar 2019 season from the Penrite Honda Racing team, Troy Herfoss. Come on over here, mate. Look, I know you're disappointed, but you gave it everything. You have done a fantastic job this year, and all you can do is give it your all, right? Well done.
That's right, Emma. I learned, when I was pretty young that going to the racetrack saying you want to win every time sets you up for failure a lot. And we always you go there to win, but I also always say to myself, if I've done my best, if I feel like I've left everything out there, which I did. I mean, without losing any mates today, I've done everything possible. And yeah, he rode a very smart race. He used his package to his advantage, and I used mine to my advantage. And he was just a bit better than me. So a big congratulations to everyone in the team. Ben Henry happens to be one of my best mates, so it's hard to be disappointed for one of your good mates. We really want to win, but what a championship. It was just such a big fight, and I'm so proud of the team for how they've worked, and they keep their cool. I sort of races get anxious sometimes, and I've got such a good team around me, and it's going to be a shame to see Sean go. My crew chief, he's been so good to me, and we changed the bike a lot for that race, and as you could see, it was better. I could actually fight with Mike in that race. But hey, I'm here. It's another runner-up. In the last 5 years, I've been in the title fight every year, and I hope it's the same again next year.
Thank you for all the amazing battles this year and the amazing racing. We've really enjoyed watching you. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Troy Herfoss. And the guy that finished third in that race, he's had a great season as well. Finished fourth in the championship from the Yamaha racing team, Crew Halliday. Hey, Crew. Look, I know you're a little bit disappointed, but you gave it your all as well. I mean, have a look at the competition this year, right? It has been sensational. Every single battle, every single race, every last corner. Well done.
Yeah, thanks, Emma. I just said to my team then, I think that's the hardest I've ever ridden. You think you're at 100%, you go that next step, and you're like, oh, how much further can I go? You go further. It's like, come back to the pits, doesn't matter what you get. It's, you've proven to yourself you can go past your max. So, no, I'm happy, that bike then just got a little bit slippery at the end of the race like everyone else's. But, I seen Brian coming. I was a bit nervous because he's on the opposite tyres to us, and, it's getting a bit tight there, and seen he must have crashed and made a mistake. And, yeah, it's hot out there. It's very humid, and, just glad to get on the podium for my home race.
We enjoy watching you again in 2020. Thank you, Crew.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, your top three for the final race for Kawasaki Superbike.
Well, congratulations to Mike Jones and the Desmo Sport Ducati team. As you can hear there, it is a team effort. Great result for Troy, Ben, Paul, and all the guys at Desmo Sport Ducati. Mike Jones, 286.5 points. 5.5 points the better of Troy Herfoss on 281. Wayne Maxwell confirms third place in the championship for Team Suzuki X-Star Australia on 273. Crew Halliday rounds out the season with a podium and fourth place in the championship. Josh Waters in fifth, Brian Starring in sixth. All of the riders in the top six have all won Australian championships. Make that the top seven. Matt Walters in seventh place, the leading independent team rider, ahead of Daniel Falzon on the factory Yamaha. Al Phillips in ninth, and Marchietto rounds out the top 10 in his first season at Penrite Honda. Plenty more to come from Sydney Motorsport Park this weekend, but it is the 2019 Kawasaki Superbike champion Mike Jones that has the biggest smile on his face at the end of today.
Liage.
Welcome back to Sydney Motorsport Park, the grand finale of the 2019 Motul Pirelli Australian Superbike Championship. Our champion for 2019 has been crowned in the Kawasaki Superbike class, and it is Mike Jones on board the Desmo Sport Ducati, getting the congratulations there from third place in the championship, Wayne Maxwell. Well, what a final race we have seen. Daniel Falzon started from pole position on board the Yamaha Racing Team R1M, but it was Wayne Maxwell from the second row of the grid that swooped around the outside and led them through turn one for the first time. He held on to the lead early on, but all of our championship contenders were in the lead group as Matt Walters ran wide at turn 9 at the Suzuki hairpin. Jones was soon back up into the lead. Herfoss in second place and Maxwell in third. Wasn't long before Mike Jones and Troy Herfoss just started to eke themselves away from the rest of the field, and Maxwell had to deal with the attention of Crew Halliday and his teammate Daniel Falzon. Also Brian Starring and Josh Waters were bringing themselves forward and getting into the battle as well. Turn 2 was the scene of so many outbreaking manoeuvres. Herfoss one lap, Jones the next. That one there, Jones ran a fraction wide and Herfoss got up the inside. As they came round through that corner, it changed every single lap. Brian Starring unfortunately crashed out at the hairpin. Not the first person to crash there this weekend. The Desmo Sport Ducati was extremely fast in a straight line, and as Troy Herfoss said, Jones used his package to his advantage and Herfoss used his package to his advantage as well. You can see there the quick change of direction. The Honda was certainly a little bit more nimble than the Ducati. They came down into turn 9. This was the last lap. Herfoss went an increasingly narrow line, had to try and get the bike stopped, and Jones swept round and through the final corners out onto the Motul Pirelli straight for the final time, and Mike Jones is the 2019 Kawasaki Superbike champion for the Motul Pirelli Australian Superbike Championship, getting the congratulations there of the leading independent team rider, Matt Walters. Down to you, Emma.
Ben Henry, wow. I spoke to you a little bit earlier in the day. And you said you got this in the bag, but you also said look out for Troy Herfoss. You were right about that, but he managed to get him.
He did. I'm really proud of him. We were pepping him up to get him in the groove for today. Obviously, he qualified not so good yesterday. But he managed to find it in himself and got the best out of himself, which is all he needed to do to be the best. For us, it's really fitting that he won today because we started this project, myself and Troy, with Mike in 2016, and so to finish the V Twins with him is really special. And it's sad to see him gone, but next year is the start of something new, and we'll be really proud to run the number 1 plate, and can't wait.
Mate, it's been 20 years since the Ducatis won the Australian Championship, and this is the last V-twin opportunity to do it. You've done it. I mean, as a rider yourself and the amount of pressure, how does it feel? I mean, you must be like, wow, just so relieved now.
I'm so relieved. I'm so relieved. The pressure that's been on us, and I feel myself a bit, to build the bikes over the last few years, and the ups and downs we've had to get to this point have been a lot, and it's taken a lot to get them to win consistently and be reliable week in, week out.
And let's not forget, I mean, this is virtually, Mike Jones didn't start the year off as a factory rider, did he? Started the year on a privateer Kawasaki. Unfortunately, Troy had that crash, which put him out, and then you guys had to make the hard decision, well, what are we going to do? How did that all come about?
Look, it came about, it was timing. That's racing motorbikes. It's all timing. And, Troy couldn't race round 2. Jonesy was there. We were like, look, mate, you can win on this thing. We know how good he is. And that's just how it panned out. And we're really grateful for that.
A last question from me, mate. I just noticed that the rear tyre on his bike looks pretty second-hand. You're not going to get much money for that on the second-hand market now, are you?
Oh, I don't know. Someone give me $50 for it, surely.
All right, well, thank you, Ben. Enjoy the celebrations tonight. And, of course, the big trophy, which I'll be presenting to you. Back to the boys in the booth.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks very much, Emma. Congratulations, as we said, to the whole Desmo Sport Ducati team. Congratulations also to Dion Coote and Penrite Honda and Dale Breed and Team Suzuki X-Star Australia for their efforts in 2019 as well. We would not have had the championship that we have had without all of those teams and all of those riders putting on the performances that they have in 2019. It has been a great year for the Motul Pirelli Australian Superbike Championship, and a new addition to the championship in 2019 has been the Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup, the new pathway to MotoGP, the category that's been developed by Martin Port and the operations people at Motorcycling Australia to develop and nurture young riders on the pathway to international stardom, and we're treated to be able to watch the final race for the season. We saw the champion Carter Thompson crowned in the race earlier on today, but the battle for second and third place in the inaugural Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup Championship is well and truly alight, with plenty of riders in contention. And we've seen this weekend riders taking their first podiums, riders taking their first wins, and also confirmation of the first champion in the class, and also 2 riders from this class being selected for the 2020 Intermetsu Asia Talent Cup, and that is the next rung, Steve Martin, on the pathway to MotoGP.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is the building block class now of Australian racing, and it really has worked out well. We dabbled in this class last year, but the initiative is to bring it together now, to get all these young guys together. 63 guys going for 11 spots for next year. That's how competitive it is to get into this. And boy, we've already got some future champions coming out of it. And we're up for another champion race right now.
Well, it's for riders from 11 to 16 years of age at the beginning of the year, and our champion, Carter Thompson, is 11 years old. He is one of the riders that's been selected, and he could very well be on a pathway that this young man, Mike Jones, is on now as the 2019 Kawasaki Superbike champion in the Motul Pirelli Australian Superbike Championship. There's a defined pathway now to international or domestic stardom that has been set up by Motorcycling Australia.
Yeah, that's definitely the shot, and that is what these boys here are aiming to be. They're aiming to be the next Mike Jones, the next guy in MotoGP. And I'll tell you what, there's a very good chance that'll be the case.
Ready for a start. Final Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup race of the year. Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup is go. Great start from pole position there from Marianis Nicholas, who scored his first race win in race 2 earlier on today, bike number 46. Well, we've just seen a great result for a bike number 46. Can he make it 2 in a row?
Yeah, well, you never know. Jacob Hatch got a good start as well, Larry, as he heads into turn 1 with a massive gaggle of these R3 Oceania Junior Cup, R15 Oceania Junior Cup bikes, as they head into the hard braking area down into turn 2. And normally there's 4 or 5 bikes wide, and that is the case this time round. Look at them all.
Bit of shuffling of position there, but the good news is, Steve, that they're all through. Oh, no, one of them's run off onto the circuit. Can't quite see who that is, but he's had a very soft lay down in the field. That looks like Jamie Port on board bike number 24. An early finish for him in the 2019 season.
It's Marianos Nicholas who leads the way at the moment, with Tom Drain just behind him. Archie McDonald, who's been coming on strong as well, right up there in the mix of things. And up the inside there, that was Max Gibbons. Didn't hear much of him in race 1, but he just dived up the inside too.
He's the other rider, along with Carter Thompson, that's been selected for the Asia Talent Cup, so no surprise to see him going well. But also no surprise to see Tom Drain once again getting the start. The one thing that's been consistent this year in this championship is Tom Drain, wherever he qualifies, getting fantastic starts. He's done dirt track racing in the US. For a young guy with so much international experience, it's been a great debut road racing for him here in Australia in the Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup.
As they head up the hill side by side, big leading group. What is there, 12, 15 bikes in that one? It is the number 46, Marianos Nicholas, who still leads the way up the hill with his compatriots next to him. Carter Thompson's there too, the new champion. I'm sure that he'd like to finish, there he is on screen now, I'm sure he'd like to finish the day with a win after winning the championship earlier on today.
Well, the other thing is though too, that you see the amount of riders in this class that their dads are still racing or are actually former racers, and their sons are now getting into it, or their dads are involved in motorcycling somehow, and the kids are getting into it because they just want to go road racing. As this lead group of riders now, look at the slipstream there. Carter Thompson on board bike number 21 coming up the inside, but who was that coming around the outside? It was Archie McDonald on board bike number 69. You said earlier on today, Steve, to keep your eye out on board bike number 69, and he's just made his way to the front of the field.
Well, I ran a ride day earlier in the year, and Archie McDonald was there, and I'll tell you what, we started riding at at 9 and finished at 5, and he was riding from 9 until 5 non-stop. That's what these guys are like. I don't know how many laps he did, but more than anyone put together. And I tell you what, he's a pretty impressive young rider. He's already won races in this championship, and he just seems to be getting stronger and stronger. Dirt bike track background for him, so you know, definitely a lot of these guys come from different disciplines, but it's good to give them the chance to come here.
Well, as we said earlier on too, this is the first year of the Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup. A lot of these riders tasted road racing for the first time at the beginning of this year, and look at the style of them now as they make their way around. They look like seasoned veterans, and you've got to say what a fantastic job it's been by Motorcycling Australia as Archie McDonald. He was almost off onto the grass there on the brakes in turn 6. But Trevor Manley and the technical crew, Damien Cudlin, the rider coach, Martin Port, the category manager from Motorcycling Australia that's got this on track and organised all of this, all of the parents that have been involved with the championship as well, they're all done such a sensational job in 2019 in the inaugural year. It's set it up for a big year in 2020.
Absolutely. Once again, 7 or 8 wide as they head up onto the KTM straight. A few out on the ripple strips and a little bit further too, just using all of that strip stream, but it is the number 31, Maxi Gibbons, who is in the lead of this one at the moment. We didn't talk much about him. I'm not sure where he finished in race 2 earlier today, but it's good to see him back up the front because, you know, he is normally a front runner, sits 5th in the championship at the moment.
Well, and he showed what pace he's got to get into the Asia Talent Cup for 2020 along with Carter Thompson. As they make their way down the start-finish straight now, I think whoever was in the lead is going to be swamped by the slipstream. Here comes Tom Drain on 59. To get the inside run, can't quite do it. I think it's going to be, is that Max Gibbons on 31 that will hold them out. Geez, that was a great riding there, considering he started off the straight in the lead and managed to end it in the lead as well. Yep. As the top, 6 riders have just started to get away a fraction from the riders behind.
Yeah, we've got probably the top Jeepers, the top 13 or 14 guys all doing the same lap time, 203.1 to 203.2. So that's pretty impressive lap times by these guys. The outright lap record set by Archie McDonald earlier on today, that was a 201.2, so still time to improve, but that time will come with the slipstream as these boys really put the hammer down.
Also too, track conditions this morning probably a little bit better for the grip of the Pirelli tyres. That's another thing that's been important in this category as well. Trevor Manley and all his technical crew prepare all of the motorcycles identically. They've all got the same AGV helmets. You can go up different specifications, but the base helmet is all the same. They've all got the same Recondi leathers. They've all got the same TCX boots, and they've all got the same Pirelli slick tyres on board these machines.
Literally, to make it easy to understand at home, what you do is you turn up at the track in your shorts and your thongs and everything's supplied and you go racing. That's how this class works, and everything's the same. Obviously different sizes boots and that for the kids, but all the same material. Lots of good sponsors on board to help us out and help us make it happen, Recondi being one of them.
And under $9,000 was the entry price for this category in 2019.
Yeah, it's a pretty good economical way to get into the class. But the other good thing about this class is because everybody's on the same machine, the level of the machinery is the same. It means that it really does promote racecraft. It teaches you how to race, and you only win if you're good. You know, you've got to think, where do I need to be on the track? All that sort of stuff. So it teaches more than if your bike's better than the next guy, which does happen in other categories.
Right, as they come across the line to complete the third lap of the 6-lap journey, so we're half race distance. It is, I think Marianus Nicholas just held the lead as they came across the line, but I think Archie McDonald may have just managed to weave himself through the inside there and take the lead as they go through turn 1. Turn 1 on these bikes is a slipstreaming opportunity, Steve.
Yeah, absolutely. 5, 6 wide as they head there on the brakes. You can see them all braking at different areas, wide lines, tight lines, just all sorts of different lines on these little bikes. But that's what you got to do. It's all about that track position. They head up the hill now. It's still Archie McDonald up near the front there.
Well, the odd one out in this lead group is Jacob Hatch on board bike number 14. He's one of the tallest riders. He's one of the oldest riders. He's also one of the heaviest riders. And he's just made his way from 7th or 8th position, only a lap ago, up into 2nd place now on board bike number 14. He's also been doing duty in the Yamaha R3 Cup and Supersport 300, as have a lot of the other riders. Patrick Bogner, Zach Pettendy, Suzuki, Reece Orchard. They've all been stepping up and racing in classes. So this class has really got them on their way to stardom here in Australia, and strong performances in those other classes as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you say, 3 different classes these guys can ride. They can ride this, the 300 Supersport class, and also the R3 Cup. So if they've got an R3 as well, it's going to be a busy, busy day for them. But they need laps, and that's what we like to give them here at the Australian Superbike Championship.
Well, it is bike number 31, Max Gibbons, that leads up the KTM straight with Marianus Nicholas, race 2 victor. It's his first visit to the podium. I couldn't believe that when he said that. What a way to get your podium underway with a win in race 2 earlier on today. The fastest man on track so far in this race, a 2:01.687 for Jacob Hatch on the last lap. That's about 0.4 of a second off the existing lap record held by Archie McDonald.
Yeah, they're really starting to arc things up now. But yeah, Marianus Nicholas has really come of age here this weekend. He sits 6th in the championship at the moment, but you wouldn't think that by the result that he's having this time out here at Sydney Motorsport Park. But I will say that these kids are so young, they just learn like sponges so much. They might, and they listen to the coaching sessions, you know, like Damien will tell them, you need to do this, and then they try it, and they actually listen and go faster, not like us older blokes.
Gibbons up the inside to take the race lead back from Archie McDonald. As they come through Kawasaki corner, turn 2. That's the big blue swarm makes its way through. How many riders are now in that lead group, Steve Martin? There's not enough to fit them on the timing monitor.
Yeah, I've given up. Pretty much everyone there. Well, there's 1 point, there's 2 seconds back to 12th place at the moment. So that group there, there's 12 or more riders. So it's a pretty impressive bunch of guys, and a lot of them have had wins in this class already.
And I think Angus Grenfell, who injured himself yesterday with a crash at turn 9, may have just dropped off the back of this lead group, but it's been a brave effort from him today to try and get back out there with those injuries that he suffered yesterday.
Yeah, good to see him, and it just shows you how tough these young guys are too. They're not scared to get out there, they're not scared to get amongst it, and you know, I'm sure that they'll be watching the MotoGP races as soon as this we're finished here today to watch their heroes in action on track.
I was actually in the grandstand yesterday when race 1 got underway, and the sound of all of these bikes being held on the rev limiter as they were on the grid ready to go when the red light went out, it sounded just like Moto3.
They do sound a bit like Moto3, and that's a good thing, because I love the sound of those Moto3 machines.
Well, that is Marianus Nicholas once again, as he did in race 2 earlier on today. The one consistent as they come round onto the start-finish straight every single lap was that Marianus Nicholas was leading the race. And could he be in line for the final round victory for the year? As they come out onto the start-finish straight, we're going to complete 5 of the 6 laps, so 3.93 kilometre journey to go to decide who will win the last race in the 2019 Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup.
Well, it's absolutely anybody's at this stage, and it's Archie McDonald who shoots into the lead at the moment. With Max Gibbons up there, they're all there, all the contenders. Archie McDonald's in that group as well. Marianus Nicholas is there on his number 46 machine. No guessing who his favourite rider is. Mike Jones, of course.
Keep your eye also too on Reece Orchard on bike number 12, who's been doing some great work this weekend. Oh, who was that around the inside? That was bike number 31. That was Max Gibbons.
Jacob Hatch was doing a good job on the inside there too, nearly running into the back of, I think it might have been Gibbons.
Well, as they come across the hill for the final time and down into Motorcycling Australia corner, it is Marianus Nicholas and Archie McDonald that lead. McDonald had the bigger set of front disc, bigger front disc, and went around the outside into turn 4 and holds the lead up to Pirelli corner turn 5.
I don't think he's backed off at all at this stage. Archie McDonald, he's, I tell you, he's one to watch for the future. He's definitely a contender. Leads the race at the moment. There's the second group coming through. Zach Patendi, Cameron Dunkner in there, and Lucas Quinn, Jai Russo, Hunter Diplock's back there too. Hunter Diplock also races in the R3 and R3 Cup, doesn't he?
Well, down into the Suzuki corner for the final time, and it is Gibbons, I think, or Archie McDonald, sorry, that leads from Marianus Nicholas.
You sort of don't want to be leading at this stage. You want to be 3rd or 4th.
Oh, look at it. Yeah. There's a bit of wind there. There's a bit of dirt out on the track, and they're running over bits of the track that don't usually get used, trying to find a creative line to get onto the start-finish straight. Marianus has positioned himself perfectly in second position there.
Yeah,
Can he get the run to the flag? Gibbons in 3rd. He may even get the double slipstream. as they snake their way conga line style out onto the Motul Pirelli straight for the final time, Steve. Coming to the line now, it's Marianas that pulls out from the slipstream. He looks like he's on for 2 from 2 as they come to the line. Here comes the charge though. Tom Drain is lunging but didn't quite get there, and Marianas takes his second race win of the year, and he's pumped up with that. He does the Glenn Ellison chest pump.
He's tiny too, isn't he, Marios? He almost just comes up to your hip. He's so young and so small, but yet he's so talented on a motorcycle.
Fastest lap of the race, Jacob Hatch, who ended up finishing in 9th position after leading the race only a lap and a half ago. And what an unbelievable performance from Marianas. Tom Drain took second place, Archie McDonald in third, and Max Gibbons in fourth, Cormac Buchanan in fifth, Patrick Bognar in sixth, Reece Orchard in seventh, Angus Grenfell in eighth. Great recovery from him. Jacob Hatch in ninth, and Cross Francis rounds out the top 10. What a race for the final race for the Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup in 2019. I can't wait to hear from Marianas Nicholas. We'll have a short break and we'll come back and hear from our top 3.
What are they off?
Welcome back to Sydney Motorsport Park, the final round of the 2019 Motul Pirelli Australian Superbike Championship. We have just seen the final race for the Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup, and Marianas Nicholas has taken his second race win of the year, his second race win of the weekend, and he'll be down in Park Fermé in just a moment. We saw a champion crowned in race 2 as well, with Carter Thompson taking the championship. Let's get down to the podium and hear from our top 3. There with Emma.
Nice big smile is what I like to see, Tom. Well done, a great way to finish your weekend with the podium.
Thank you.
How was it out there? How were the conditions? Feels a bit windy?
Yeah, it was a little windy. On the first lap I nearly ran off because I nearly got blown off the track.
Anyone that you'd like to thank out there? Your family, your sponsors?
I'd like to thank all my family for coming. AVG Helmets, Link International, TCX Boots and Recondi Levers.
Great work. Goodbye. Everyone, give him a cheer. Well done, Tom.
Thank you.
And Marianas, what a great race. Congratulations with first position. A great end to your weekend.
Yeah, it was fabulous. Like, it's big mind games, like not leading on to the last lap. But yeah, we got a good setup, as I've been saying. Got a second race 1, race 2 first, race 3 first. So yeah, I'm just overwhelmed.
Anyone you'd like to thank?
I'd like to thank everyone in Oceania that makes this possible, especially my mechanic David Gow. Just, yeah, my family, my dad and just getting that great setup. But yeah, Archie and Tom put up a great race, and yeah, can't wait for next year.
Great work, boys.
Oh, thanks very much, Emma. Congratulations to Marianus Nicholas. That smile, I think, says it all, Steve Martin. What an unbelievable final event. But 2020 is shaping up to be an even bigger year than 2019. The pre-season test at Phillip Island early in the year, 29th to the 30th of January. Then round 1 in conjunction with the World Superbike Championships, February 27 to March 1. Round 2 once again at Wakefield Park. Round 3 at the Bend to be joined by the Asia Talent Cup and the Asian Road Racing Championship. Round 4 with the V8 Supercars at Barbagallo Raceway in Western Australia just 1 week later. Then we have a mid-season test at Morgan Park before the Morgan Park round. Round 5 on the 7th to the 9th of August. Round 6 at Winton Motor Raceway. And then the season finale, round 7 at the Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit from the 2nd to the 4th of October. For more details, go to asbk.com.au. So certainly shaping up to be a massive year, the second year of the Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup, and along with all of the other championship classes. It's been a great weekend here at Sydney Motorsport Park for the final round for 2019. With continuing action here with more races to go this afternoon for R3 Cup and also the Superbike Masters, so plenty more left on today's program. But congratulations to Marianus Nicholas in his second race win of the year, and by my calculations he should actually take out the round win with 2 race victories and a great performance overall. And I think that smile on the young man's face pretty much says it all. But Carter Thompson is your champion for the Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup in its inaugural year. There's Damien Cudlin, the rider-coach, who's done a great job with the young boys and girls in the Oceania Blue Crew Championship in 2019. Angus Grenfell finished second in the championship, and Tom Drain finished third in the championship on 288 points. So Damien Cudlin will be looking forward to working to those young men and women next year. But big crowd has been in here at Sydney Motorsport Park today to take in all of the action. As we wind down, hopefully a lot of them will stay for the remaining races on today's program. But down to Emma for some final thoughts on 2019's unbelievable season.
Unbelievable. Phil, thank you very much. And Steve, thank you to you. What an amazing 2019.
Oh, it was absolutely incredible. It had everything. It had action, it had drama, and it had guts and determination. And we saw that culminate here today. I mean, what a championship it was. And I mean, for me especially, Ducati to win 20 years after I won it for them. Well, you know, what a great day.
Congratulations to Ducati, to Mike Jones, and to all our champions in all of our classes. It has been an epic year, and ASBK is just getting even bigger and better. Thank you to all of our crew, to Phil Hullum, to Steve Martin, everyone at home for watching us for the fantastic 2019 season that it was. It's been an absolute pleasure being a part of the coverage. asbk.com.au while we're off air, but we look forward to seeing you for a bigger and better 2020. I'm Emma Francesco. Look forward to seeing you then.
Welcome back to Sydney Motorsport Park, the final round of the 2019 Motul Pirelli Australian Superbike Championship. Last race for the Yamaha Motor Finance R3 Cup is about to get underway. And Mark Brax joins me in the commentary box to witness what is sure to be an unbelievable spectacle for the last R3 Cup race of the year. Braxy, it's been great racing all year, and Hunter Ford, I think, has got just enough of the lead in the championship, but the battle for second and third is really going to be on in this last race.
I don't think he did enough this morning to actually wrap it up. There's a couple of points he needs, but he's well on track to successfully defend the title he won last year as well.
If he crosses the line somewhere in the top 15 or so, he'll have enough points to win the championship. But there's so many...
I was going to say, you reckon he'd be happy with just finishing anywhere in the top 15? No.
No way. Same as Mike
chance.
Jones wasn't happy to sit in second place and win the championship by half a point in the Kawasaki Superbike class.
The one that to keep an eye on is Max Stover, because obviously he would have been absolutely shattered after that YMI Supersport 300 race when he's leading basically all year, to have it snatched from him in the last couple of turns. And with Senna Agius taking it out. But he's on second behind, beside Hunter Ford with Zach Levy. He's the one that's going to, I think, go out with a bit of a smile on his face and maybe take another win.
Well, he had a massive race in that final Supersport 300 race. And keep your eye on Matty Rindell, too, on board bike number 95, who had a big weekend last weekend down at the MotoGP, taking victory in the Supersport 300 support race.
And that man that was just on, that young bloke that was just on screen then, 292, Ryan Smith, who has come of age in this weekend with battling up there and getting a really good finish in his, as he learns about racecraft and battling with these guys that have got a little bit more experience than he has.
So on the front row of the grid, we have got Hunter Ford, who is it 22?
22 points in front of Johnny Littress, who in turn is another 11 points in front of Maxi Stouffer, who in turn is another 8 points as they head off on their warm-up lap.
So Max Stouffer has got a,
8-point lead over Brendan Demery.
Yeah, for third place in the championship.
Lockie Taylor isn't here this weekend. He sits in fifth at the moment, so no doubt Zach Levy will be moving into a top 5 position. The winner of the inaugural Yamaha White Motor Finance R3 Cup back in, was it 2016?
Yeah, and Hunter Ford will be the only rider to ever have done back-to-back championships if he can score just a couple of points in this race. In fact, if Johnny Littress wins the race, well then Hunter Ford needs to score 3 points and he's the champion. But I think if
which is the 17th position for 3 points.
Yeah, and if they finished even on points, I think he'd still win it by the fact that he's won more races than anybody else in the championship this year anyway.
Yeah, he has. He's been a pretty comprehensive and consistent rider this year. And Hunter, he belies, he's just turned 20 years old, but his height, that's what gets me when you consider that these bikes are pretty evenly matched, particularly in the R3 Cup. And he's always at the front. His corner speed, his corner exit speed is remarkable. And how he manages to origami himself behind the screen of that R3 machine is belies description.
He's an unbelievable exponent of the Japanese art of paper folding.
And doing it to his body. So we've got a good chance to see these guys in action for the final time here for 2019. And I must say, the hats off to everybody involved in the ASBK Championship. All our sponsors from Pirelli Motul all the way through Kawasaki, Suzuki, KTM, Pirelli, AGV. They've all had a part in it, and particularly the lads and the girls at MA Motorcycle in Australia, to getting this championship back to where it is and where it's expanding to and increasing in popularity. All the riders and, more importantly, all the marshals and officials, that without them we do not have a race meeting.
And also it's so pleasing to look down through that field and see so many riders that are either competing this year in the Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup or have just stepped out of GP Juniors and they've come into this class, or they've been doing double, triple duty in classes this weekend. There's so many riders when you look down through that field that Australian motorcycling is certainly in a good state, much healthier than what it has been for many, many years, with young riders coming through.
Exactly, and now we've got plenty that have got good resumes as we're in the starters' hands.
Look at all those Recondi Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup leathers in this race as well. Gives you a fair idea of how many juniors are doing double duty. So Hunter Ford sits in pole position. He also leads the championship. over Johnny Littress and Max Stouffer. R3 Cup is go for the final time in 2019. Great start from Maxi Stouffer, but Hunter Ford and also Zach Levy pull into his slipstream, and Brandon Demery tries to slip down the inside. Benny Baker got off to a cracking start as well on board bike number 72, and Littress is also in there on the 308 machine. No surprise to see that lot leading as they come down into turn 2 for the first time.
Yeah, Maxi Stouffer taking the lead. He'll be a bit determined. He'll want to go out a winner after the disappointment of seeing the championship of the Supersport 300 slip from his grasp on the final couple of laps earlier on this afternoon. So it's Maxi Stouffer leading the way as they head over the YMI hump into MA corner. Oh, big move from, who was that? Johnny Littress up the inside of Hunter Ford going into MA turn 4 through Pirelli turn 5 and the charge up the hill. As they head there, Maxi Stouffer, a couple of bike lengths lead. Was that a little guy going
I think that was Jacob Hatch running out very wide on the exit of turn 5.
He probably hasn't got his breath back from the Oceania Junior Cup that he just competed in.
Yeah, where he went from the lead to 9th place in the space of a blink of an eye.
And so Carter Thompson did the same thing. So Max Stouffer, bike number 27 in front of Zach Levy, bike 87. John Littress on bike 308 in front of Brandon Demery and Hunter Ford. Where is he? He's in that bunch somewhere. There he's dropping back. Where's he got to? Oh, there he is in 3rd position. 4th position, pardon me. Oh, Stouffer through the corner speed through turn number 9 up to turn 10 and 11, the hammerhead section of the Sydney Motorsport Park.
Oh, I just love watching Max. He just looks so much like Jamie, doesn't he, when he's riding the bike. What about Jamie Stouffer's performances? 5th and 6th in the 2 Superbike races. So it's been a big day for the Stouffer clan here at Sydney Motorsport Park today. But looking back through the field, here comes the slipstream efforts from John Littress and also Zach Levy as Max Stouffer gets relegated to 3rd. Just looking to see what I think it was Ben Baker, Ryan Smith and Reece Orchard could do, because they were in a position to get the slipstream as well. So as they come out of turn 1 and down towards turn 2, Hunter Ford has once again arrived on the scene. As we said, Braxy, his leathers are labelled perfectly. It just says Hunter on the back. That's exactly what he has been for the entire 2019 season. He goes hunting 3 times a weekend.
Yeah, and he stalks them, and he wants to win this and win the championship in style. As we said, he's got a 22-point lead coming into this race. He's only got to finish 17th or better to win.
Oh, Demery up the inside.
That's if Maxi Stouffer can win the race, which is in a perfect position at the moment. 3rd position. That's where he wants to be on the last lap, coming onto the straighters in about 3rd or 4th, so he doesn't get swamped like he did yesterday afternoon, where he was leading coming onto the straight to get all he could manage with 5th, a whole 0.3 of a second off the win.
Yeah, he's been stiffed all weekend by not getting on the podium in 2 races and being 0.4 off the lead in one of them. As they come down into Suzuki corner now, and they'll start the run up the KTM back straight. It is Littress that leads.
For how long? Is about 500 metres, I'd say, before they come back onto the straight.
Well, this is one of Zach Levy's favourite overtaking opportunities, is the big dive at the end of the back straight there to lead round these final corners.
He's keeping it dry at the moment. Doesn't want to show him too much, because we know in the past he can be in 5th position on the final lap and pull something out from somewhere.
Yeah, he's been the master of the last lap muggings on more than one occasion over the last couple of years.
Here comes Maxi Stouffer to return the favour as he goes from 3rd into 1st up the inside. Just shows you how critical it is to get into that the draft of these guys to manage the slipstream, but it didn't last too long as he's gone back to 3rd position. There's Hunter Ford. No, Johnny Littress is back in the lead with Brandon Demery up there on bike number 11. So he's gone from 5th up to 2nd in a few hundred metres as well. But look at them, got 2, 4, 6, 8 riders in this leading bunch at the moment. So any one of octet of riders could win this.
So Reece Orchard is in that lead group as well on board bike number 121. You can pick him out. He's got the black and yellow machine, bike number 121, doing a good job. This is his first year of road racing as well. And, on these bikes. So he's doing a pretty good job.
He had a year off last year with an injury. He broke his leg early in the year at Broadford. He did take part in the GP Juniors for a couple of years as well, but it's good to see him come back because it was a badly broken leg, and he's doing the Oceania Junior Cup triple duties as well. His old man Dino's a pretty handy punter of classic bikes, so we'll see him back in action at the Ireland Classic in January. Up the inside comes Brandon Demery to take the lead, going into Suzuki turn for the 3rd time, relegating Hunter Ford to 2nd position. Benny Baker back on the tag of this one, bike number 72, tagging along for the ride. So it's Brendan Demery, Hunter Ford, then it is Zach Levy, and just behind him, Johnny Littress in 4th position, Reece in 6th, with Max Stoper in that sandwich right at the tail. The red helmet and the red rims of Max's bike, easy to pick out.
Yeah, just behind this group, we've got Caleb Gilmore on 59, who crashed out earlier today, the Kiwi, and also Kyle O'Connell on board bike number 42. Look at the slipstream. You can see them just pull out there, Hunter Ford and Johnny Littress, as they make their way down in towards turn 1. Who will hold the lead? It is Littress on the 308 machine. Well, I think was it last year, Braxy wrapped up a couple of Australian championships in one weekend on the dirt track.
He did. There's been a few of them. I tell you what, up the inside, and Zach Levy, he saw that gap and he thought, okay, if Hunter Ford can find his way through, I'm going to find my way through. So Johnny Littress from leading back to 3rd position. Brendan Demery in there as well behind Maxi Stouffer. And Ryan Smith as well. He's starting to make a charge up through this pack being on the end of it. Reece Orchard in there as well. Any one of these guys at the front, back to Benny Baker in 8th position, can win this race on their 4th lap of this 7-lap journey.
Fastest man in the race so far is Reece Orchard on the 121 machine with a 144.772. They're a little bit off the lap record pace, but I think track temperature probably a little bit too high to be setting ultimately fast laps. But the racing is so close in this class as per usual. Hunter Ford leads the championship, leads the race, and Zach Levy, who missed the last round at Phillip Island, is certainly making his presence felt at the final round of 2019.
Yeah, and Hunter Ford wants to go out winning a championship with winning a race, but Zach Levy looks for a way up the inside, going through into the final couple of turns, AGB onto YMF, and then the Motul Pirelli straight. Maxi Stoker in 3rd position. They'll have a couple of laps left to go at the end of this one, 3 as a matter of fact. So it's Hunter Ford leading, but here comes the slipstreaming yet again.
Look at Reece Orchard's fairing moving around. That wouldn't be helping his aerodynamic efficiency as they make their way down the straight. On the inside, it is Littress and now Demery that dives up the inside.
And Orchard around the outside as well. There's no room on the inside.
But Demery went so wide, but just kept the thing pinned, and he still is now disputing the position into turn 1. I think they've been watching Mike Jones and Troy Herfoss as they run in there very, very quick. The only difference was their back wheels were somewhere near the ground.
Yeah. Now Johnny Littress from Caboolture in the lead momentarily at the moment.
To see the fairing there of Reece Orchard waving around in the breeze. Hopefully that doesn't come off and will cause some sort of issue in these final laps, because we're on the 5th of 7 laps at the moment. Great results for Benny Baker since he's been part of the WNR team as well, Brax. He really has stepped it up, coming under the guidance of the former dual world endurance champion Warwick Nowland.
Yeah, he's always a good rider, multiple Australian dirt track champion. He was good in the junior ranks a couple of years ago as well, before he stepped up, was in the Asia Talent Cup last year as well. As now they come down into Suzuki turn for the 5th time, it still is Johnny Littress. He's almost turning 15. He's still 14 at the moment. Their age belies their experience, that's for sure. He has a look behind a la Fabian Foray. You shouldn't have to look, mate. You know there's a whole pack of screaming 220cc machines right up your ducktail.
What did Barry Sheen say? Look where you're going, not where you've been.
Yeah, you've been.
Here we come out of YMF corner and onto the Motul Pirelli straight for the 5th time. It is Littress that leads. Will Demery, or I think it might be Zach Levy, is going to get the beneficiary of the big slipstream here. Levy's in perfect position to go down the inside as they make the entry into turn 1.
Oh, and Johnny Littress thought about having another dip up the inside, not even using the brakes. They're full noise going through turn 1 as they come up to Kawasaki turn. Littress up the inside. No, he thought, I'll save that one for later. Let Zach have it as he runs it a little bit wide on the Puma. Oh, that's Brendan Demery, and Zach Levy did run it a bit wide on the Puma RV machine.
Hunter Ford got the better of Max Stouffer for 4th position as well. He just saw a small gap up the inside and was able to shoehorn himself in there. So Stouffer back to 5th position. Right behind him is Reece Orchard on the 121, then Ben Baker on 72. On the back of the group is Ryan Smith.
I'm just looking at the monitors, Phil. Even the point scores can't keep up with the way the positions are changing at the moment. As we see now that
abacus would be working overtime.
Demery leading the way as they exit up the hill through Corporate Hill, this very fast off-camber turn that can catch me. Well, I'm surprised it hasn't caught too many riders out this weekend, Phil.
No, if you get out wide on that corner, it's going to be a very nasty and fast crash. It's actually turn 9, the hairpin there at Suzuki Corner, that's caught more people out than probably any other corner this weekend.
For sure, there's been a lot of carnage there this weekend, but Brandon Demery leading the way. We know for one thing for certain, by the time they get to turn 1, he's going to have to pull out a monumental effort if he's going to maintain this lead. Johnny Litchfield in third, Hunter Ford, Max Staver, Reese Orchard, Benny Baker, Ryan Smith and Kyle O'Connell some ways off. But this bunch now, as Brandon Demery struggles to hold on. Here comes Hunter Ford from 4th up to 1st position. Brandon Demery goes from 1st back to 4th. Hunter Ford, what's happened there? He's had a look around. What is going on with Hunter Ford on bike number 20?
Oh, this could be the championship. He's got some sort of problem, has Hunter Ford. Looks like his bike may have cut out. As, just getting a message too from Race Direction that bike number 224, Harry Parker, is under investigation for track limits at turn 9. He must have almost been on the front straight. They've been off the track limits there all weekend.
Now look where Hunter Ford is, way back in, 8th position, 9th position as he comes over.
Or I'm wondering if he got the message, drop back out of this lead group. Don't worry about trying to get into the shenanigans. All you need to do is finish back there in 8th position and that will be good enough to take the championship.
Has a teenager ever listened?
Well, it looks like he's just been given a message, so I don't know, he may be paying attention.
He may be, but yeah, that was very dramatic. At least he's still in the race. I thought he was something had gone wrong with the machine. They're saying, yeah, you might be right there, Phil. Back out of it. You only need 3 points in this race to win the championship.
Well, and the thing is, if you're in that lead group, you're going to increase your championship of not finishing the race.
As they come down now into Suzuki Turn for the final time for 2019. They're on their 7th and final lap.
That will be good enough for Hunter Ford to take the championship, even if Johnny Litchfield wins the race. But if he's leading the race here, Braxy, I can pretty much guarantee he's not going to be leading by the time they get to the checkered flag, especially not with those two madmen behind him. Zach Levy on board bike number 87 and a determined Maxi Stoper on board 27 as well. Here they come. It's the charge of the Light Brigade to the final time, to the finish line. It is Johnny Litchfield is going to hang on. He's going to hang on. Levy gets his final race win of the year. He said before he didn't think he'd be able to get up on the podium again. Well, he's done it and he's taken the race win as well. So Zach Levy, congratulations to him. Johnny Litchfield in 2nd, Max Stofer in 3rd. And Hunter Ford will finish in 8th place and will be crowned a dual Yamaha R3 Cup champion.
Well spotted there. We thought we had a bit of a panic attack there with the way that he just sat. And it was not the most sensible place to sit up and decide to back out of the yard.
Oh, turn 1 just to sit up and say, what's going on? But I think he's going, what? I got a message from the pit board.
I'll have to ask him about that.
Well, you'll be able to talk to the 2019 R3 Cup champion in just a moment, Braxy, when the riders make their way back to Parc Fermé for the final time. So, final results. Looks like Zach Levy has taken the race win by a margin that the CompuTime timing monitor can't even determine. It is literally that close as they've come across the line that the timing monitor is still trying to determine what the winning margin was. There it is, 2/1000ths of a second for Zach Levy to take the final race win of 2019 over John Litchfield on board the 308 machine. Litchfield will finish 2nd in the R3 Cup Championship. Max Stofer in 3rd in the race and 3rd in the championship. Then it's Reese Orchard, a great ride from him. That'd be his best result for the season on board the 121 machine in 4th. Brandon Demery in 5th. Ben Baker in 6th. Ryan Smith in 7th place. Hunter Ford, Caleb Gilmore and Kyle O'Connell round out the top 10 with Archie McDonald, Matt Rindell in 11th and 12th, Zach Pettendy in 13th, Laura Brown in 14th, Pat Bodnar in 15th, Harry Parker in 16th, Dominic Fletcher in 17th, Patrick Lee in 18th, Hunter Diplock in 19th, and Tony Sims rounds out the top 20, 1 minute behind the race lead. 20 bikes within 1 minute of our race winner, Zach Levy. But it looks like there is a video review for first position because the timing monitor couldn't even determine how close it was. And it's still to be confirmed. So we'll wait to get positions that have been confirmed now as we look at race highlights. Stofer got a great jump from 2nd place on the grid to lead down into turn 1 for the first time. But as usual in the R3 Cup, it was the charge of the Light Brigade. We had a lead group of 8 or 9 riders early on in the race. Everyone took their turn in the lead. It was Littress, then it was Levy, then it was Stouffer, Hunter Ford, Brandon Demery also in there as well. Stouffer took the advantage on the slipstream. Then it was Demery trying to go down the inside. Hunter Ford, championship leader, came in with a 22-point lead in the championship. He only had to secure 3 points in this race to be crowned back-to-back Yamaha R3 Cup champion, and he was dicing for the race lead for 6 of the 7 laps of the race distance. Demery took his turn in the front on board bike number 11. Then it was Littress back up the inside. Down into MA corner turn 4, a big lunge there from Zach Levy with Littress and Hunter Ford still in the mix at this stage of the race. Max Stouffer looking for third place in the championship, was also in that lead group as well. Reece Orchard had his fairing starting to move around as Ben Baker right behind him tried to take advantage of the slipstream. Hunter Ford into the lead. He's got to the lead and then he got the message, dropped back out of the lead group saying what's going on here, as the rest of the field made their way past him. Bit of a shake of the head there. I think that was Ryan Smith on the 292 machine. Was lucky to avoid Hunter Ford. As they came round the AGV corner for the final time, it was Littress in the lead. We didn't think he was going to be able to hold on, and he looked like he was going to, but just as they got to the line, it was Zach Levy by 2 1/1000ths of a second to take the race win over Littress and Max Stouffer. Littress and Stouffer second and third in the championship, but your champion for 2019 in the Yamaha Motor Finance R3 Cup is Hunter Ford. Let's hear from our top 3 and our champion. There was Mark Brax.
We're here now. Well, Max Stouffer in third position. I know you're a bit disappointed, but mate, hold your head up proud. You've done very well this year and take a lot out of this. And mate, you've done some great racing, so be very proud of that.
Yeah, thanks, Braxy. I'm pretty disappointed about the Supersport 300, but nothing I can do about it. I tried, but I'm happy to take third place in this R3 Cup race.
And you know, you got 2 seconds. You can't. It's not too shabby. There's a lot of people that don't give their eye teeth for that.
I'm pretty happy with how it all went.
All right, mate. All the best, and we'll see you back bigger and better in 2020. Max Stouffer, as we go on to our second position. Johnny Littress, hold your head up, mate. You just got it on the line by the barest of margins he got you, but you've had a great year. You're a fast learner and you've got a good future.
Yeah, it was an awesome race. Can't thank the people that helped me enough, like AGV, TCX, everyone else that helps me out, like Coach Yamaha, and just everyone that helps me. It's a great year, and thank you very much.
No, you've ridden really well all year, so take that away and come back bigger and better next year.
Thank you.
No worries, John Littress in second position. As we go into our race winner and round winner, he didn't think he might have been back here this afternoon. Took CompuTime a bit of time to actually decide that you'd won it, but by the barest of margins, well done, Zach Levy on the Puma RV machine.
Hey, who would have thought? Unbloody believable. Massive thank you to Yamaha, John Redding, Ian Irving, Puma RVs, Hannay Lawyers, Shark Leathers. I'm probably forgetting a whole lot of people. My beautiful girlfriend support me, let me do this again. Thanks to everyone. Hasn't been the best year, we started off pretty rough and lost our chance of any hopes in any championship, but to come away after a jump start yesterday and to win the round and the race, that's pretty good.
Mate, you did well, and what a way to finish the year too with another great race.
Yeah, it just puts the fire in my belly to want to come back next year, but I'm not sure yet.
Yes, you'll be back, Zach. I'll make sure of it.
Yeah, good on you, Braxy. Cheers, mate.
No worries, Zach Levy. And let's go on to our championship winner. Where is he? 2-time 2 in a year, last year and this year. Hunter Ford, congratulations, but you must have got a message or something. I thought that something went wrong with the bike where you just backed it off in turn 1.
I swear the last lap ball was out because he held something off that top tower, so I assumed it was the last lap ball, and then I didn't even look to see a checkered flag. I just went.
But, mate, you've battled hard all year, and you're the first guy to defend a title in the R3 Cup, so that's a pretty good one. Congratulations as well.
Yeah, thank you. I only had to finish in the top 17 to win it, so...
We knew you weren't going to try that one, that's for sure.
Well, winning the race would have made it a bit better, but... anyways.
Anyone you want to thank in that one?
Just all my sponsors. Yamaha held some scuba helmets, mum and dad for bringing me down.
All right, mate, well done, Hunter Ford. Our 2019 Yamaha Motor Finance R3 Cup champion for the second year in a row. Well done, Hunter Ford, and well done, our winners. Zach Levy in first, Johnny Littress second, and Maxi Stover in third in the final race. Back to you guys.
Thanks very much, Braxy. A confirmation of the final season points now. Hunter Ford on 289 is your YMF R3 Cup champion, ahead of Johnny Littress on 274, and Max Stouffer, 2 podiums in 2 championships. It's been a good year for young Max, as well as heading overseas to race in championships overseas as well. Brandon Demery back up to 4th place after a difficult start to the year. A great result for the former champion. Zach Levy in 5th, Lockie Taylor not here this weekend in 6th, Reece Orchard in 7th, Benny Baker in 8th, Ryan Smith in 9th, and Luke Johnson rounds out the top 10 in the Yamaha R3 Cup Championship. So one more race to go on today's program, and that is the Superbike Masters. They're out on track getting ready for the final race on today's big program at the final round of the 2019 Motul Pirelli Australian Superbike Championship. It has been an unbelievable year, and a great way to finish off with the Superbike Masters. Some of the bikes out here, Braxy, are the ones that some of the legends of Australian racing have ridden in the past to championships, and great to see them rounding out today's program.
It is, and it's great effort by Big Darren Lark, that's worked tirelessly over the year to try and get this as a part of a championship. They've had their sighting and warm-up lap combined. You don't want to keep them out there too long. Mark McVeigh and his 888 machine there on the Yamaha. There's Steve Curl on the C&M Motorcycles Yamaha from second position in that previous race that was cut short due to an incident. But Aaron Morris in a league of his own at the moment. Johnny Allen there on that immaculate TZ 750 that basically he's taken possession of. No one's ever going to get a hold of it.
Also Steve Craig on the second row of the grid, our leading period 6 750, and also Scotty Webster, our leading period 5 Formula 1 machine. But we're ready for a start. Final race of the program. Aaron Morris starts from pole position. Superbike Masters is go, with Morris not getting the best of starts. So a pretty good start for Steve Curl, but well, typically the 2-stroke not real good off the line, Braxy, but don't worry about that. Johnny Allen will crank the 2-stroke up, and it won't be long and he'll be up in that lead group.
How fortunate have we been with the weather? I just looked at that shot then, and in the distance those clouds are getting darker and darker, and we're going to get through here on a dry weather conditions. But
exactly as we predicted this morning.
We got something right.
Everyone was saying there'll be rain. With no, it'll be all good. A good start too from Steve Ward on board bike number 97.
He's getting back to full form, that man that does anything on a 2-stroke or a 4-stroke. As our leaders go down now into turn 4, MA corner, up to Pirelli turn 5. Whoa, bike number 38, Steve Craig. He's
Someone's
on the Formula 5, period 5, which is 750, I think, isn't he?
The period 6, 750, yeah, but someone's lit his fuse in this one because he's up there challenging Steve. I think Aaron Morris has been told, hey, Sunshine, just hold back for the first couple of laps and let someone else have a go at the front.
Well, when they've got 3 of the bikes on the front row of the grid with looked after by Terry McKinnon and Craig Stewart, is Steve Curl. He's probably going, hang on, what's going on here? And Aaron Morris has a look behind. Where's Johnny Allen? There he is in 5th position on the TZ 750.
It's going to be like the old Ford team when they were doing the 1-2 down the straight at Bathurst with the 3 C&M Motorcycles bikes at the front of the field very shortly, as Morris tries to find a way past the fast-starting 38 machine of Stephen Craig, the GSXR 750.
And here it comes. He's going to wick it up. He's going to let this Yamaha 1000 loose, and he storms past the 750 of Stephen Craig and takes after his good mate Stevie Curl. 3 Steves in the top 4.
Well, and I tell you what, the machine of Johnny Allen there didn't look to make too many inroads on the 750 4-stroke machine of Steve Craig either.
This could be a nice little battle here. They've been sharing dinners and beers over the last couple of days as Stephen Curl and his family and also Aaron Morris.
I thought you were going to say Aaron Morris had been giving him some tango lessons.
He could be. He's a very good tango dancer that I found out last night.
I still don't, but I think you're still pulling me leg,
I told you I'd give you a little bit of a surprise with a little tidbit like that. But no, Aaron Morris, he does a lot of it in Newcastle with him and his wife and the club they're in.
We might see him in Dancing with the Stars.
You know, that's what I said to him last night.
Well, he keeps going like this. He could be the dancer or the star. You won't know.
So as they exit up the hill up to turn 7 on this 6-lap dash to bring to a close a magnificent Pirelli Motul 2019 Australian Superbike Championship events.
Do you reckon Craig Stewart's sitting there watching this race with a big smile on his face at the moment as the two motorcycles that he's prepared are out 1-2 in this race with Johnny Allen closing in now? Look at Stephen Craig going for the second, third, fourth twist of the grip there on the GSXR because all he can hear is the swarm of bees right behind him.
I think he almost stretched those cables. Oh, he ran it a bit wide. Johnny Allen had to take it a little bit back it off there. Johnny Allen, mate, one of the smoothest riders ever. I was saying to Dave Johnson before, I haven't remember the last time he actually crashed a bike. As Aaron Morris sweeps into the lead and gives a little bit of a carrot to his good mate Steve Curl. And see, is he going to just say, okay, you've had your fun for a couple of laps, now it's my turn to dance my way to the front?
Well, when we were watching him yesterday, he seemed to be having so much more lean angle through turn 8, turn 9 down into the hairpin. He looked like he was almost even dragging his elbow through the hairpin at Suzuki Corner on board the FZR 1000 as Johnny Allen has managed to get the TZ ahead of Stephen Craig. So it is a C&M Motorcycles 1, 2, 3 as we saw on the front row of the grid. But a big shout out to Scotty Webster, who's our leading Period 5 machine in 5th place on board the Harris Suzuki. And then the next rider through in the Period 5 class, actually the outright Period 5 class, would probably be...
Would it be Roger Gunn?
No, Roger Gunn's on a Formula 1 machine, so it might even be Steve Harley, I think, maybe on board bike number 75.
Steve Harley's a pretty good rider in the old Indians as well. He's done pretty well in those in the past. A big tank shifts.
Well, actually, no. It could even be Pat Pavoni on board bike number 4, the GSX.
That's an immaculate-looking machine.
That's Roger Spud Arnold's old machine. Yeah. In actual fact, Pat and I actually rode that bike at the Broadford Bonanza a couple of years ago. He liked it so much, he put in an offer for it.
And he's done a bit of work on it too to make it a bit more reliable down the bottom end as well, with some channeling and cooling of the oil system. Let's look at Steve Curl trying to get under the bubble of the C&M Motorcycles FZR 1000 as they come down now to complete lap number 3 to go. Well, you can almost see the big smile on his face through the clear visor.
Well, Aaron Morris has just said, I'll see you all later. A 1:36.8. That's, what's that? 3 seconds faster, 3 point something seconds faster than anyone else on track. In fact, Johnny Allen's just cracked into the 39s as well with a 39.787 as those clouds that you mentioned before, Braxy, are certainly starting to develop now to the western end of the circuit.
Yeah, well, the Mazes don't rain on the parade just yet. They're the rain gods. Let's get this one out of the way.
3 more laps to go. In Aaron Morris's turn, that's just over 4.5 minutes.
And I bet he'll try and crack the 33 in the last couple of laps. Done 34s this weekend on a machine that is basically based on something that's nearly 30 years old.
Well, Steve Martin probably be pretty happy to see that Suzuki GSXR running around. He may have won his championship in 1999 on a Ducati, but he rode Suzuki's for many years before that in the Australian Championships.
Yeah, fettled by none other than, well, it was a Mick Holmes Suzuki as well back then as well. There's now our leader, Aaron Morris, coming through a lead now of nearly 5 seconds over Steve Curl. And looking back through the field, Stevie Ward dropping back down a bit behind Stuart Woodbury and Mark McVeigh.
Looked like a pretty good battle going on there between McVeigh and Woodbury. Not too much between them in lap times. They were only about 0.3 or 0.4 of a second apart as Steve Curl comes across to complete 4 laps. So 2 more laps to go for the man from Shell Harbour in Wollongong.
Those bikes, they just not only look good, but the way they handle and the ability to get round the corners and everything, so smooth. They never seem to be out of shape. They're just proving that Macca and Schnoz can do a really good job of setting bikes up, as we've said a couple of times, with the top 3 all fettled by C&M Motorcycles.
Looks like both Steve Curl and John Allen coming round to put a lap on the man responsible for getting the Superbike Masters back on the ASBK calendar. Big Darren Lark, a man that is so passionate about his historic racing, and great to see him coming out here. But Braxy,
first time here.
I was going to say, we would be remiss of us not to mention that of all of the years that Darren Lark has been racing historic motorcycles, his first dry laps at Sydney Motorsport Park on Friday morning in practice 1.
He might be coming back, I reckon, the big Daz, and hats off to you too, matey. As we now go through the leaders, Aaron Morris is off into the distance. Now his lead out at 9 seconds. As the battle for second is intensifying between the two teammates. One on a 4-stroke 1000cc machine and the other on a 2-stroke 4-cylinder 750cc machine.
So just looking back down through the field, I'm surprised, Braxy, to see Dennis Ackland back in 19th position on board bike number 21. He's usually a front runner in the Period 5 class. I don't know why he's back through the field so much. Is it because he hasn't got his good mate Albert de Hennepe here to drag him around the circuit? Because they have some great battles together, those two.
Maybe so, as they start the last lap of 2019 across all classes in the Pirelli Motul Australian Superbike Championship here at Sydney Motorsport Park.
Looks like that wind's just picked up a fraction too, with some debris getting blown across the circuit as Johnny Allen hones in on the back of Steve Curl's number 79 machine.
Oh, you can see how hard Steve's riding it by the front end, but bouncing around over the braking bumps going into turn 2.
And however hard he's riding it, Aaron Morris is riding it 3.5 seconds a lap faster.
Into a 35, his fastest lap. He's buttoned it off now to bring it home. And he's
buttoned it off to a 36.
Yeah. Johnny Allen seems to be spinning up the rear tyre of that thing.
Oh, look at the corner speed.
Here he goes.
Corner speed of the lightweight 752 stroke, and the genius that is John Allen.
Yeah, he can ride anything. You put him on a unicycle, he'll be at the front of the pack.
I remember watching John Allen here, and I think it was about 1996, riding in the Australian Supersport Championship on a YZF 600 back in the day of Andrew Pitt, Damon Buckmaster, I think Troy Bayliss, Dean Thomas, all riding in the Australian Championships back in those days.
As we focus now on our leader here on the live streaming with Aaron Morris, bike number 64, coming through to collect another win on this immaculate Yamaha machine.
Yep, through the AGV and YMF corners. He actually even slowed down so that the rider just in front of him gets another lap to complete the day. But he comes across the line now. Aaron Morris on board the C&M Motorcycles. FZR 1000 to take his third race win of the weekend. Did it in style, backed it off to a 39.4 on the last lap. Here's the run to the flag for positions 2 and 3, and it's Steve Curl that will take second ahead of Johnny Allen on board the lightweight TZ 752 strokes. C&M Motorcycles 1, 2, 3 once again.
A great race to finish the program here at Sydney Motorsport Park. The Superbike Masters showing the Masters in action.
So John Allen will take the win in the Period 5 750, or the Period 5 class, I think. But I'm just looking at it to see. I'm not sure if they've deemed that to be a Formula 1 bike, if it's got a standard frame or not. So, but he has won his class regardless of whatever it is. There's Anthony Bairn on board the Kawasaki ZXR 750.
Yeah, right behind Roger Gunn. They've been having a great battle all weekend as well. And good to see Roger Gunn finishing a couple of races too on the old beats.
Well, that bike gets more and more up to speed. But also Troy Bayliss would be keen to see that ZXR 750. That was the bike that he was riding on the road when someone said to him, hey mate, stop riding on the road like that. You best go racing. And look where it took him. Aaron Morris took the checkered flag and won by 12.4 seconds over Steve Curl on the second of the FZR 1000. Johnny Allen in third. Steve Craig will take out the Period 6 750 class for the weekend with 4th place overall in that race. Stuart Woodbury in 5th on board the 199, the Ducati 851 SP. Scotty Webster on the Harris Suzuki will take the Period 5 F1 class. And Steve Ward, Mark McVeigh, Mick Johnson and Phil Burks rounds out the top 10 on board his RC30. Race highlights for the final Superbike Masters race of the weekend. And it was Aaron Morris that got a pretty tardy start from the front row of the grid. He just cruised off the line as his teammate Steve Curl led them away for the first lap. A great start from Steve Craig on board bike number 38, the Suzuki GSXR 750. Even had a look up the inside of Steve Curl for the lead at the back of the circuit on lap 1. As Aaron Morris was in a watching brief. But once Morris and Curl had got away, then it was John Allen's turn to try and make his way past the fast-starting Suzuki. And Curl just had to hold on for second place because Aaron Morris by this stage was off at the front of the field, setting 1 minute 35 laps to pull away in the end to a 12.4 second lead. But late in the race, it was the third of the C&M Motorcycles, the 2-stroke version, the TZ 750 ridden by John Allen, bike number 37, that was closing in on Steve Curl's 79 machine. And over the last lap, we got extremely close around the back of the circuit in the fight for the final podium positions. But no one could get there near this man in the race, nor at any stage during the weekend. Aaron Morris, who's done a couple of rounds this year on board the Next Gen Motorsports BMW S1000RR as teammate to Glenn Allerton, came to the checkered flag for the third time this weekend, takes the race win, takes the round win, and across the line in style, Steve Curl in second place and John Allen in third. So the Superbike Masters Series points will see John Allen take the series win from Mark McVeigh and Scott Webster on board bike number 76 in third position. Let's go to the podium and hear from our top three.
Well, welcome to the podium for the presentation of the Superbike Masters race number 3. In third position, Johnny Allen. At TZ, it's yours, isn't it?
Oh, I love the bike. We went the wrong way on a few things this afternoon, trying to grab a bit more power and stuff. We had to work for it. We were losing speed all day. I think like 18 Ks down from this morning. But no, it's part of it. You know, the guys all love it. And that I can't thank Terry, Snoz, PC, the boys enough for putting the bike together. And I'm just glad that the ABCK Superbikes have invited us along. We enjoyed it.
No worries, John Allen. Well done for another good ride. Well done. We'll see you back next year.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks.
No worries, Johnny Allen. In second position in that race, Stevie Curl. I think I could see the smile through that visor the entire race, mate.
I was very happy. Just, got a bit gifted there. But, Craig's got such an awesome bike. I'm so lucky. Dad, Steph, everyone, just thanks for a great weekend. Thanks for having us. I hope you let us play at your rounds a bit more.
I'm sure you will, mate. It was great to see you guys up there and leading the race. You're probably pinching yourself there for a while.
Yeah, I just thought it's a stitch up and Aaron was going to get me later, and it happened. So that was excellent.
Well done, Steve Curl. And our winner, he might be tap dancing or you're doing a bit of a tango there, Aaron, or what? Well done.
Thank you, Braxy. No, it was a good weekend. Weather was kind for us, so I'm pretty happy with it so far.
Was that a bad start on purpose, or did you really mean to let Steve have a bit of a play at the front?
I was just going to go have a bit of fun with the boys. You know, they've been riding really well, and I've been trying to help Steve out a bit with his lines and this and that. And, I just want to see what he was actually doing in a race and give him a few pointers so we can improve for next time as a team.
All right, mate, all the best and congratulations on the round win of the Superbike Masters.
Yeah, thank you, and thanks everyone for putting it on and all the officials. And it's been great having us here. It's good to have a run around, and I enjoyed it.
No worries, see you next year. And also at the Island Classic, well done. And closing up from down here and back to you guys in the box.
Yeah, thanks very much, Braxy. Great to hear from the top three there. Plenty coming up, though, on the MA calendar events. The Australian Supercross Championship Round 3 next weekend at Wynn Stadium in Wollongong, the 9th of November. Then the FIM International 6-Day Enduro, the 11th to the 16th of November in Portimao in Portugal. The Australian Supercross Championship Round 4, the SX Open, the 16th of November at Mount Spart Stadium in Auckland, New Zealand. The Australian Supermoto Championships Round 3, the 23rd to 24th of November at Proserpine in Queensland. The Australian Junior Road Racing Championships Round 6, the 23rd to the 24th of November as well at Proserpine in Queensland. The FIM Oceania Speedway Championship, the 23rd of November at Gilman Speedway in South Australia. And round 5 of the 2019 Australian Supercross Championship, the Oz X Open, the 30th of November at Marvel Stadium in Victoria. More information, go to ma.org.au. And of course, the 2020 calendar for the 2020 Championship for the Motul Pirelli Australian Superbike Championship. The pre-season test at Phillip Island. The first round with World Superbikes, the 27th to the 1st of March. Then it's the Wakefield Park Raceway, the traditional round 2, 27th to the 29th of March. The Ben Motorsport Park in conjunction with the Asian Road Racing Championship and the Indometsu Asia Talent Cup, the 7th to the 10th of May. Round 4, the sites with the V8 Supercars at Barbagallo Raceway a week later, the May 15 to 17 weekend. Then it's the mid-season test at Morgan Park Raceway just before round 5 at that same venue on the 7th to the 9th of August. Round 6 at Winton Motor Raceway, the 11th to the 13th of September. And the final round at the Phillip Island Grand Prix Circuit, the 2nd to the 4th of October. That's the 2020 calendar. It's been an unbelievable year. Back down to you, Emma.
It has indeed, Phil Harlem. Thank you very much to you, to Mark Brax, to Dave Johnson for joining us this weekend, and to you, Steve Martin. I've had an absolute ball working with you this year.
Yeah, it's been a really great year, hasn't it? I mean, we've seen everything. We've had everything thrown at us. Sometimes weather, sometimes wind, but we were lucky with that today. So all in all, what a day it's been here at Sydney Motorsport Park. We've crowned some brilliant champions. We've seen some great races.
Thank you again, Steve Martin, and thank you to all of our crew. Thank you to it all at home for watching. 2019 has been sensational, but ASBK 2020 is going to be even bigger and even better. The first round at the end of Feb. Cannot wait to see you there, of course. In the meantime, stay up to date at asbk.com.au. I'm Emma Francesco. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks again for joining us. See you next year.